must-win game for the Redskins, who got on the board first. Play action again to Reagan. Theismann. Warren, the tight end, diving into the end zone. The Giants responded by turning to their top running threat, the small but always dangerous Joe Morris. Morris. Big open hole. Morris is gone. Joe Morris. That tied the score at 7, which is where it stood in the second quarter when the Redskins tried some trickery. But this flea flicker failed to fool Lawrence Taylor, who got the sack on Joe Theismann. And we knew something was wrong when Taylor popped up and gestured to the Washington bench for help. It was a broken leg for Theismann and the end of a storied career. The spotlight turned to an unknown backup named Jay Schrader, and he asserted himself on his very first pass attempt. Schrader is wide open. And knocked inside the 15-yard line on a beautiful shot from Jay Schrader. That set the tone for Schrader, but his team still trailed 21-17 in the fourth quarter when they tried their second onside kick. They go with an onside kick once again. The ball is loose. Andy Hedden tried to handle the ball, and it was taken by Greg Williams, who hustled down under it. The Redskins marched steadily downfield behind Schrader, and then from 14 yards out, they went for the winning score. Schrader fires a shot to Didier, touchdown. The Redskins will have the lead, and what a story is developing around Jay Schrader tonight. These were Jay Schrader's winning numbers last November, and tonight the story continues as Schrader leads the Redskins into Giants Stadium against Lawrence Taylor, Joe Morris, and the rest of the New York Giants. It's for a share of the lead in the tough NFC East, and you'll see it tonight on ABC's Monday Night Football. A pro, Billy Kilmer. It's 1st and 10 to the Redskins. The ball just beyond their 30-yard line. The play fake. This is going for Roy Jefferson. Jefferson beats Meadows, his score. On 4th down, goal to go at the 1. Reverse. It's a reverse to the tight end, Gary Lewis. And he didn't get in. Oh, what a good defensive. Great defensive play by All-Pro Mark Haynes. Great play. I thought he had it to walk in.
2nd and 9.
Here comes safety blitz. Phil Simms reads it.
Timing play, tipped and caught, and breaking free is Johnson for the touchdown.
We are live from Giants Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Tonight, a key NFC Eastern Division game matching two longtime NFL rivals, the Washington Redskins and the New York Giants. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By Miller Lite, for a great taste, there's only one light beer. By MCI, communication for the next 100 years. And by Black & Decker, ideas at work. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford. Welcome to Giants Stadium, where there are 76,000 expected tonight. Another Giants sellout. We think they'll all be here, even though there is a little happening going on a few miles away from here. But I guess you could call it great alternative viewing, because what you have tonight is two longtime rivals fighting for a share, or for the Giants at least a share of first place in the NFC Eastern Division. The Washington Redskins end tonight at 6-1. The Giants are 5-2, and of course the Cowboys are watching tonight. They are 6-2. So a Giants victory, and they could share that lead in the NFC East. The Redskins could keep it all to themselves, however. For the Giants, offensively, they have been struggling. They have only one veteran wide receiver with any experience for whom Phil Simms can go to. They have lost some of the outstanding players that they had. Lionel Manuel is on the injured reserve. But Bobby Johnson is really the only healthy outside man they have. Mark Bavaro, their fine second-year tight end, is also suffering from a bad foot. But they do have young Joe Morris, who I call him young because he just really blossomed only last year. They like to run him, of course. He had a great game against the Redskins a year ago. Defensively, that's where they shine, these Giants. They are very special that way. They have great linebacking headed by Lawrence Taylor. They are #1 in the National Football League at the moment, and if anything, they are improving almost with every game. Lawrence Taylor is playing like he did a couple of years ago when he was the best this business ever produced. He had a little bit of an off season a year ago, even though he earned a a Pro Bowl berth a year ago. So the Giants are counting on the defense. The Redskins are counting on a lot of new people to help them this season, but they are off to a great start. Al Michaels, 6-1, that's awfully good. They could only, theoretically, if they could win 5 more, they could be looking for a playoff spot already.
You know, Frank, there were a lot of question marks about the Redskins coming into this season. They've answered a whole bunch, but will really get the true answer, I think, tonight. They are 6-1. They have played the exact schedule the Giants have played. The difference is Washington beat Seattle, while the Seahawks beat the Giants last week. They are doing it with a lot of new faces. The retirement of Theismann, Schrader has really come on. Riggins has retired, and Rodgers has done the job. And they'll get Kelvin Bryant back next week as well. Mosley is gone. They've got Zendejas along with Cox place kicking. Joe Gibbs has been fiercely loyal, but he's made the changes. And tonight, as I say, we will find out just how good the Redskins really are in a game that I think is far more important to the Giants than to Washington, because if Washington loses, there will be a 3-way tie for first place in the NFC East. However, if the Giants get beat tonight, there'll be 2 games back with 8 games to go. The Giants have won the toss, and the Giants to receive with Mark Collins, the rookie number 25, back along with Phil McConkey, the once and present Giant, who was let go, picked up by Green Bay, and now he is back. And there is Collins, the rookie cornerback and kick returner out of Cal State Fullerton, and Steve Cox, who is the kickoff man and the punter. And he kicks the long field goals, booming this one to get things started down to the 3-yard line, taken by McConkey. And McConkey runs into his own man and comes out to the 21. And so Sims leads the Giants out, and Sims hopeful that he'll have a better day than he had in Seattle last week when he was picked off 4 times and was sacked on 6 occasions. And the men with him in the backfield, the key man, of course, will be Joe Morris, the running back number 20, and Otis Anderson is healthy again, so he will help out as well. And they begin with Morris and Maurice Carthen as the running backs. Zeke Moat, the H-back here, goes in motion, and it's Morris to the outside, nowhere. Vernon Dean came up from the corner, number 32, to make the tackle. The Redskins, tough defensively, good line, some questionable linebacking with Kaufman and Coleman both hurt, and a good secondary. Second and 12, Vince Warren, the rookie out of San Diego State, in for the Giants, and he is wide to the right. And again with Moat going in motion, it's Morris looking for room, breaking free, past the 30, has a first down at the 33-yard line. Darrell Green making the tackle.
Joe Morris, that's what he did all last year, and we'll take a look at it in slow motion. He is not all that big. If you have not followed the Giants and have not seen them this year or much of last year, he's only 5'7", 195 pounds, but he bounces off the block as good as anyone you're going to find in this game. Gets to the outside, taken there by Darrell Green, but not until he picks up the first down. Interesting lineup for the Giants. They go with Bavaro, the tight end, number 84, Moat. There he is on the move, much like the Redskins operate.
Fake to Morris, pressure applied, but Sims gets it off. And close to a first down to Bobby Johnson, a man they must rely on tonight in the absence of Lionel Manuel and the other problems the Giants have had. Johnson could be a very key figure.
Let's take a look at him again. He is playing with a very sore ankle, and a good drive downfield, breaks it off, and I spoke of the experience. He had to come back. He had the yardage for the first down. He had to come back to get the ball in front of Darrell Green, short of the first down by about a yard.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. New York at its own 42-yard line. First minute of play. Carthen, back of Morris, slips inside and picks up a first down, a 3-yard gain out to the 45-yard line. Maurice Carthen, the blocking back, the short yardage specialist, and on 2nd and 1, he gets the first.
2 years ago, he had a 1,000-yard rushing season for the Generals. As we look again, good block by Moat, number 84. He is a powerful blocker. He has not fully recovered from knee surgery of a year ago, the big tight end, but he's in there with Bavaro, and they are operating in a very effective type of formation that could be a big asset to the run.
And this time out of the eye, it's Morris down to the 47-yard line. The block by Maurice Carthen springing them. So they come up in the eye and they get into Redskin territory.
What you have in there, Al, is Carthen, Moat, and Bavaro. They are all excellent blockers. You mentioned Carthen a moment ago. Great blocker for Herschel Walker. Moat is very strong, perhaps not the receiver that he was before he injured his knee, but Mark Bavaro is also a very strong blocker. You would have to think that the Giants want to try and keep this on the ground as much as they can and move it that way.
Second and a short 2, and has another first down. And so the Giants have reeled off 3 straight as he takes it down to the 43-yard line. Dean Hamill, number 78, making the tackle.
Let's take a look at it again. Again, fine blocking. And these are big chunks of real estate the Giants are ripping off. Again, up front, in front of Carthen, a good block by Moat, a stand-up block, but he got a terrific block by Joe Morris.
So first down at the 43 with Johnson wide to the right, Moat going in motion. And Morris carries for the 4th time. Big hole from Morris inside the 30, down to the 21-yard line. A gain of 22, and Morris has already gained 42 yards on this drive.
Again, big block by Zeke Moat. He's the lead block, and he gets it right there. Nobody cuts it back better than Joe Morris. He's small. Sometimes they don't even see him. He spins away from one tackle, gets down inside the 25 to the 22, and it was Darrell Green again on the stop. This is effective thus far against the Redskins defense.
First down, Giants at the 22-yard line. Again, it's Moat moving, and it's Morris, and this time he runs into a gang at the line of scrimmage. And that gang is led by Dean Hamill, and also in the picture is Dave Butts, number 65, who is the oldest defensive player in the league. He's 36.
Good, strong defensive line. Good pass rush. Dexter Manley, Charles Mann on the defensive end. They will bring in Steve Hamilton a lot. They will work in there, but they are hurting at the linebacking position. Mel Kaufman out of it for the season. IR with a ruptured Achilles tendon. Monty Coleman unavailable. And the Giants thus far have been able to move the ball against that defense on the ground and very effectively.
Second down and 11, and Morris again, and this time he is stopped after a minimal gain at the 20. And this is the first time now on this drive that the Giants have a 3rd down upcoming. Neil Olkowitz, the 8th-year man out of Maryland, second on the team in tackles, in on the stop. Lawrence Taylor and the Giants defense, and they'll be well rested as they come out, as their offense has had the ball for the first 5.5 minutes of the first period.
A couple of rookie wide receivers come in. Vince Warren, number 83, Solomon Miller. The Giants, again, as I mentioned, only one veteran wide receiver, Bobby Johnson, and they're in the passing situation at the moment.
3rd and 8, shotgun. Sims looks over the middle, throws, and it's tipped away at the last moment by Alvin Walton. Mark Bavaro, the tight end, was the intended receiver, and thus the Giants come up a little short and try to settle for 3 as Raul Alegre comes in.
Nickelback right with the intended receiver, Bavaro. And Sims had all the time he could ever want. No pass pressure at all from the outside, Manley or man. And they will have to settle, however, for the field goal.
It will be a 37-yarder for Alegre, who was signed last month. He's the 3rd man to kick for the Giants this season. Rutledge holds, and the kick is good. And so the Giants move impressively down the field, come up a little short, but still get 3 and take the lead with 10 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Since I hung up my size 19 sneakers, Dave and I always get together for a few Miller Lights.
And argue about who was the greatest player.
You were the greatest.
No, Bob, you were.
At least we agree Lights taste is the greatest.
Yep, Lights also less filling. And you can't afford to get filled up when you're the great Bob Lanier.
Come on, Dave. You won the MVP and the championship. Those were the 2 biggest feats in basketball.
No, Bob. Those were the 2 biggest feats in basketball.
For the biggest taste, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
3-0 is the score of the hour in Gotham and environs, because that's the score at Shea right now, with the Red Sox leading the Mets 3-0 in the 4th inning, and Ron Darling is gone. here it's 3-0 in favor of the Giants, and that is Jenkins, one of 3 back deep for Washington.
Think of all the switchers that are burning out tonight around the country.
I would like to have the watchman concession in this ballpark. Allegre putting it in the air, and Jenkins takes it at the 5. Past the 20, the 30, and out to the 40-yard line. A nice run back by Ken Jenkins, the 4th-year man, the versatile one, out of Bucknell. And thus, Jay Schrader, who has led the Redskins impressively to a 6-1 mark as we approach the halfway point in the season. And the others with him, Rogers, with Monk and Clark, the wideouts, Warren and Didier, the 2 tight ends, and the very good front 5, the interior line. First down from the 40. Giants ahead 3-0, 9:50 to play in the first period. And Schrader to Rogers. Straight ahead as they begin simply, and he takes it out to the 43. Mark Collins in on the stop. Martin, Bird, and Marshall up front for New York. And then the great backers, Banks and Reasons and Carson and Taylor. And then the secondary, which was somewhat suspect, but of course the Giants are #1 in terms of yardage allowed, so they're doing a pretty decent job. 2nd and 8, Washington from the 42-yard line. That's Warren in motion, and Rogers bumping and spinning, but only getting a yard or so. Tough yardage as he tries to penetrate the Giants' front. The only problem Rogers has really had, Frank, has been the propensity to fumble of late. Carson making the last tackle.
The Giants linebackers, as I mentioned at the very top of the show, they are as good as you are going to find collectively, and Rogers is coming out, and he was shaken up. There was some heavy hitting in there on Rogers, and he was shaken up. They're going to look at him on the sidelines. And with Kelvin Bryant unavailable, not off the IR, this could truly hurt the Redskins.
Keith Griffin takes his spot as the ace back in this set. And with Art Monk coming in motion to this side on 3rd down and 6, Schrader looking for Monk, who's covered well, and then goes deep, and it's batted away. Gary Clark had it batted away by Mark Collins. Had Collins not made the play, it would have been very close, as Clark was right there on the sideline.
Schrader hung it up there for a long time, and let's take a look at Collins. He is the rookie from Cal State Fullerton that is probably going to remain a starter ahead of Elvis Patterson. They were shocked at this 2nd-round draft pick when he came into camp. He has great skill, he has great poise, and he played this well. Schrader hung it up too long, could have put it on a string, and that could have been a big pickup for the Redskins. Now they will have to punt.
Now Steve Cox, who's versatile in that he punts, kicks off, and kicks the long field goals, with Phil McConkey back deep for New York. Booming kick, but a line drive, and McConkey fakes as if he's going to make the catch, and then lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So out it will come to the 20, and the Giants come out. 8:09 to play in the quarter, and New York ahead on a leg raise field goal.
The Los Angeles Rams, Eric Dickerson drives the offense. The Chicago Bears, the Super Bowl champs, always look sweet. It's ABC's Monday Night Football next week.
Al Michaels, Frank Gifford with you. East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Giants, with a victory, would make it a 3-way tie for first in the NFC East. Dallas, Washington, and the Giants. Meanwhile, Washington trying to stay on top in sole possession of first as the season reaches the halfway mark. 3-0 New York. Sims and the Giants at their 20. And Otis Anderson is in the game. And it's Anderson who takes the flip pass, and Otis takes it out to the 26-yard line. So Anderson, who came over a couple of weeks ago in the deal with St. Louis, played sparingly in his Giants debut and then strained his hamstring and missed last week's game at Seattle, is back in there now.
Very fine receiver, a multiple 1,000-yard rusher with the St. Louis Cardinals. The Giants and Bill Parcells picked him up for a 2nd-round draft pick and probably a 7th round, 2 picks. And if he stays healthy and stays contented, he could be one of the great trades they've made in a long time. Terrific receiver out of the backfield. The Giants out of the 2 tight end offense, and now with the conventional 3 wide receivers.
And it's Anderson. And Anderson gets to the 30-yard line, which is where the Giants must get to for a first down. And so Otis on 2 carries makes it 1st and 10. And there are some of the numbers as Anderson is now 39 yards away from moving into 10th place. Larry Zonka holding down 10th place on the all-time NFL rushing list.
He had over 300 receptions, or just about 300 receptions with the Cardinals, so you know he works well out of the backfield. You throw him a little 2 or 3 yarder and he'll turn it into a big type of play for you.
From just outside the 30, Sims throws into traffic and is lucky it's not picked off. A whole bunch of white shirts around Johnson, and Neil Olkowitz was the man who very nearly picked it off.
Well, Sims had no reason whatsoever to throw that ball in there. There was nothing but Redskins around. Olkowitz was right there, moved over from the middle linebacking position. It was a zone coverage all the way against Bobby Johnson, and Sims had to have at least one alternate receiver out of that. He just followed Johnson all the way. Never took his eyes off him.
That's the type of thing that has to drive Parcells crazy on 2nd down and 10. Morris hurdles for about 2 or 3. Sims can be so very, very good, and then occasionally, Frank, he's prone to making that type of pass. There he got away with it, but a lot of times, as was the case last week in Seattle, he won't.
A lot of the criticism is unfair, however, for Sims. Over the years, when he's been playing with fine receivers, he has been exceptional. He was the MVP of the Pro Bowl last year when he had good receivers to work with. He's working with one experienced wide receiver, Bobby Johnson, tonight, who would not even be starting if Lionel Manuel and Stacy Robinson were healthy, and they're not the 2 best in the league. He concentrates on the receiver more than he should because he has to.
3rd and 7. McConkey is in there out of the shotgun. They blitz, and the throw is nearly picked off again. Darrell Green got his hands on it, intended for Solomon Miller, and they boo Sims and the Giants as they leave the field offensively.
As we look again, it's also interesting, a totally different offensive setup for the Giants. They came out with their first possession, the 2 tight ends. They moved right down the field. They had Bavaro and Moat in there. No problem whatsoever. Now they come out with the 2 wide receivers and Bavaro, a tight end. They couldn't move the football at all.
Actually, a few of the boos, probably those who thought that Green may have interfered, but no way. Landetta kicking. Green calls for the fair catch. It's a short kick. It's dropped and recovered at the 30-yard line. A 36-yard punt, and Washington maintains possession. Gary Reasons was in the neighborhood, but right there it's Green who comes up about a half step short and then is able to recover his own fumble. 5:50 to play, 1st quarter, 3-0 Giants.
My amigo Juan just came out from Mexico, so I'm introducing him to my American friend Larry and our favorite beer, Miller Lite.
Por favor. Juan, mi Miller Lite de gusto porque it tastes muy bueno.
Larry.
Ladies, mimosa calorías and no gusto filiopo. El comprende?
No, not really. For mucho great taste, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Does your friend speak any English?
5:50 remaining in the 1st quarter, and the Redskins have it at their own 30.
Rogers back in the lineup for the Redskins, so he apparently is all right.
So Schrader leads them up. And with Warren in motion, the play fake, and then the flip out to Warren, carried right away at the 32-yard line. Perry Williams, the corner, the 3rd-year man out of North Carolina State, making the tackle.
You mentioned now the Giants defense leading the league, at least in terms of yardage, having given up an average of 247 yards per game. But over the last few games, the last 4 games to be precise, they have held their opponents to 193 yards per game. They have been playing spectacular defense, and you get the feeling when the offense comes on, they like to tell the offense as they pass them on the field, go out and hold them a while, because they are getting no support from the offense thus far over the last few games.
2nd and 8 from the 32. Monk in motion, quick flip over the middle, and the catch is made, and a nice catch by Don Warren right there. Carl Banks making the tackle, and they will spot it very close to the 40-yard line. The nose of the ball is on the 40 and close to a 1st down. In fact, close enough for a measurement, says Jerry Seaman.
That play almost had to be one that was picked up by Joe Gibbs and his coaching staff, looking at videotapes of the specific Giant defense where they could get Warren inside and They go quickly to the automatic and just short of the first by that much. Schrader stepped up, saw that defense that worked on it, I'm sure, all week. Came with the automatic and popped it to Warren.
Meanwhile, they'll bring a third tight end in now. Number 82, Anthony Jones, comes in to set up on the left side. On third down, and you might even erase the ES on inches here. That's Warren who sets up as the fullback. The tight end 85 to lead the way for Rodgers, and it's easy for 5 out to the 45. So they put Warren in the I formation in as the fullback, and then Rodgers behind Mark May and R.C. Thielman, the 10-year veteran and former Falcon out of Arkansas. First down, Skins.
George Rodgers, the former Heisman Award winner. Actually, and Bobby Beathard, who is the architect of this football team, he has put it all together. He was looking for somebody else when he called New Orleans 2 years ago. He didn't think George Rodgers would possibly be available. Bum Phillips traded him off, and he is the key man with Calvin Bryant on the bench now as far as the running game for the Redskins is concerned.
First down from the 45-yard line, and it's Rodgers again on a slow developing play that never gets developed. Leonard Marshall, number 70, broke it up. 2nd and 11.
Great offensive line on the part of the Redskins, but it's tough to run laterally against the Giants. It really is. They're pulling everyone. There's number 68, Russ Grimm, and coming from the other side, Thielman, the guards. But the Giants have these big linebackers, 6'4", 235, 240 pounds, and they pursue as good as any linebacking core in the league. And you saw the effect of it right there, a loss of a yard.
Rodgers out and Keith Griffin in now, and Monk goes in motion to the far side. 2nd and 11. Schrader, screen for Griffin. Hit at the 44-yard line and down there. Andy Hedden, number 54, who doesn't get a lot of ink because he's the other linebacker, in on the play.
Andy Hedden's in there a great deal on a passing down, but you're right, he can move around with the best of them. He's one of those big ones too, 6'5", 242 pounds, and they are so agile. Good hit on Griffin, spun him right around.
Rapidly moving first quarter, 2:35 to go in the period. Giants on top 3-0, and the Redskins 3rd and 10 from the Washington 45. And Ricky Sanders is now in the game as a wide receiver to the left. Schrader pump faking toward Monk, escaping a tackle, but thrown out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Well shy of the first down. Jerome Sally threw him out. And Schrader took a rip.
They are working on protecting Schrader from this man, Lawrence Taylor, putting an inside move on the part of Taylor, and that allowed Sally to come from the outside. And Taylor, who took it all the way to the inside, almost made the tackle for a loss on the outside. Sally, however, made the stop. 4th down, punting unit on.
Steve Cox to kick, and McConkey stands back at his own 10-yard line. Another boomer. And again, McConkey fakes the catch, lets it bounce into the end zone, and that's a replay for you. Out it comes to the 20-yard line. So the Redskins are stopped after their initial first down, and the Giants get it back with a 3-0 lead. 2:03 to go in the period. 2:03 to play, first period at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford. Giants on top 3-0, and that is the score at Shea. Still 3-0 with the Mets coming up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bruce Hurst has allowed only 1 hit, that by Ray Knight. Evans and Gedman, home runs for Boston. 3-0 Sox in Game 7. First down, Giants from the 20-yard line. Sims to Morris. Gain of 6. 2nd and 4. Olkowitz in on the stop, and Hamill put the pressure on Sims.
Giants back in the 2 tight end offense now. Interesting, during the commercial break on the sidelines with Bill Parcells, Parcells had both Moat, the tight end, Vince Warren, the wide receiver. He was waiting to make sure the Redskins had their defensive personnel set before he decided which way he would go. And he came with the 2 tight ends, and they moved that very well with Moat and Barbaro in there on their very first series.
2nd and 3 to the 43-yard line and run down by Charles Mann.
That's good, strong running by little Joe Morris, who now he is slow getting up, and he does appear to be in pain. Broke a couple of tackles at the line of scrimmage, but he is down out at the 45-yard line, and he is patting his left leg.
Maybe the last man offensively they could afford to lose right now, since they're minus so many weapons.
Again, the lead blocker is Carthen. Two tight end offense. Number 84, see that? He got enough of a block out there against number 57, Malott, to let Morris break inside. But the big concern right now is the fact that Morris is not getting up, and they are looking at his left knee.
And right now, George Young is pretty happy, and so is Parcells. They made that deal for Anderson a couple of weeks ago.
Morris went down, and Charles Mann went down right on top of him, and they slid along the turf for several yards. Joe Morris, who came up really 5 years ago, as we look at the reverse angle, didn't play that much the first 3 years, and then all of a sudden blossomed into a major superstar in '84, and then last year was sensational with over 1,300 yards and gets an ovation as he leaves the field, and he does appear to be all right.
Big week last week. He gained 116 yards against Seattle, but the Giants were done in by a couple of untimely interceptions and lost 17-12. So Anderson comes in to replace him, and Galbraith is the other back next to Otis. First down, Giants at the 43. Sims over the middle to Galbraith into Washington territory. First down at the 42-yard line.
Galbraith has been doing that for a decade now, the all-time leading receiver as a back. Doesn't get the big yardage on his receptions, but he's always a checkoff man. Sims looking down, looking deep, nothing happening there, running out of time, looks around, finds number 30, pops it to him, and Galbraith tacks on a nifty little run, and the first down is inside the 45-yard line of the Redskins.
Galbraith, no stranger to catching the football. He normally catches more passes than he rushes during the course of recent seasons anyway. First down at the 42. This will be the final play of the period as Sims goes over the middle and has the tight end Bavaro trying to shake free. And he's able to garner another couple of yards and make it second down and 2 as the period runs out on the tackle by Malott.
They love Bavaro here. That's the kind of football he plays. He is tough, he's big, he's strong. He's the man you can always look for the Giants to go to, because Bill Parcells, he is the man that I look to protect me. He gets good yardage.
See, you can't imitate the old Uke just like you can't imitate Miller Lite. Oh, these fans, I love them. Hey, Light is still the only leading beer with a third less calories than the regular beer and a great taste, too.
Let's go, fella.
Oh, I must be in the front row. Imitations don't make it.
You can't copy an original. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
You ever see my John Wayne?
Our ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Pontiac, America's road car company. Pontiac, we build excitement. Giants kind of alternating now out of the two tight end offense. Now they come back with it. Bavaro and Mowat. Mowat in the little wing position. He's been doing a lot of motion from that spot.
And Morris is back in the game on 2nd and 2, and they give it to Joe, and he's got a first down. To the 24-yard line as this impressive Giants march continues, and Darrell Green comes up to make the tackle.
Every time they've been with this personnel set of the two tight ends, they have just shredded the defensive line. Morris gets a little opening, and he makes major yardage out of a little bit of nothing. Good block by Oates and hard over on the left side.
First and 10 from the 24. Morris again back of Carthen and takes it down to the 19-yard line.
Giants moving it once again on the ground, and of course behind Joe Morris. First quarter stats, 120 yards, total yards. And as you can see for the Giants, 74 of them coming on the ground. Interesting, Al, it was Bill Parcells who told us even at the beginning of last year that Joe Morris really, he wasn't the durable type. You couldn't play him in the entire football game. He played it well last year, over 1,300 yards, and he is more than durable.
And he's the eye back here, and he's durable enough to carry for the 3rd time in a row and take the ball to the 13-yard line. And close to a first down, and he has it. So the march continues as Daniels and Mann make the tackle. And Morris, and that's very impressive in light of the fact that we mentioned before, the one bugaboo for his opposite number tonight, Rogers, has been fumbling.
And the way that Joe runs, you would suspect he would cough it up more than he does. But he is very conscious, very aware. He gets the bouncing around in there, but that's usually when you fumble. But he is a very aware back with the ball.
And now it's Otis Anderson who spells Morris here. Even though Joe stays in the game, Anderson with the carry and a gain of close to 2.
Otis was not the most happy of football players with the St. Louis Cardinals. He had, as I mentioned earlier, great years. 5 out of 7 of his years with the Cardinals. He was over 1,000 yards last year. He didn't play. I think he missed the last 6 or 7 games altogether. He had a sore foot, but there was also a lot of talk about him being terribly unhappy and not wanting to play there.
2nd and 8. Sims's 5 completions have gone to 5 different receivers, and here's Morris for the touchdown. And the block by Anderson. Otis Anderson, who never wanted to be a fullback or a blocking back, but is just happy to be here, and the Giants are happy he's here, and so is Morris on that particular play.
He gets a big block from Anderson, but he got great penetration at the line of scrimmage. There was one miss there, and then out in front, a couple of Giants gets the block from Anderson, kind of a shielding block, if you will. But over on the right side, Nelson was there, Godfrey was there. They did a tremendous job, and the Giants are really moving this ball on the ground, and they're doing it almost effortlessly.
Morris has already gained 90 yards with 12:28 to go in the half. Allegre for the extra point. And the Giants come flying out of the box, and we've got a penalty marker. That's the first penalty marker that's been thrown tonight, and we'll get the call from Jerry Seaman.
Offside, number 56 defense. The extra point is good. 5-yard penalty, succeeding kickoff.
Calvin Daniels was offside. Joe Morris has given the Giants a 10-0 advantage.
Let's look at it again. This run and the others you've been watching against what was the 3rd best defense in the NFL only a year ago. It is not even nearly close to that this year, and the Giants are moving it ever so easily on the ground.
Otis Anderson with the assist as Morris gets into the end zone. That man who was with a team that is now 1-7 is looking at some possible playoff money.
You think he's not happy?
Yeah. Allegre's kick, good kick. Ken Jenkins downs it in the end zone.
The Redskins are weak at their linebacking position. The Giants came out tonight, 2 tight ends. This is Zeke Mowatt. He has put on a couple of great blocks early in this game already, and he comes back with a block against Calvin Daniels right in his face, and it's kind of block that you really want to get from a huge tight end like that. You're right up in his face. You're not knocking him down. You're not bullying him around, but you're keeping him away from the running back and letting the running back make his move either inside or out. Joe took it inside, got the block from Anderson. The easy score.
1st and 10. Washington from the 20-yard line. Monk goes in motion in front of Warren, and the handoff goes to Rogers. And the former Heisman Trophy winner out of South Carolina and the New Orleans Saints #1 pick a few years ago, who came over to the Skins, takes it out to the 25.
We were talking with the personnel director, Bobby Beathard, who's done a remarkable job over the years with these Redskins. And he just flat stated that he was scared to death of this Giants team, particularly their defense. He wasn't too outspoken about their offense, but he was terribly concerned about the defense. But the offense has been moving the ball at will here thus far, and the defense is playing like that you would expect they would, and that is superb football. They're in trouble, I think, the Redskins tonight.
Rogers gets buried. Harry Carson was the first of the blue shirts
Hey, that's what you love if you're a defensive coordinator. You get one hit at the line of scrimmage. You got another one coming in there. You got the safety man flying in there. And this is kind of infectious. And this is the way the Giants play their defense. 56, Taylor getting buried underneath. And now everybody in on it. Number 55 has taken the pop. And number 53, Harry Carson. They were all there. That's what you love as a defensive coordinator. Crowd loves it too, Al.
Rodgers out, Griffin in. 3rd down, 6. Schrader sending Clark in motion from the 24. Flushed out and down.
Oh, they're hot tonight. They're everywhere. George Martin was there. Jerome Sally comes in when they go to the 4-down lineman. They had Schrader out of the pocket. Coming from that 4-down lineman, George Martin, 75, kind of the designated pass rusher. From the opposite side, Leonard Marshall. Schrader never had a chance to set up and even look deep downfield. He gets sacked inside the 20, 4th down. Out comes the punting unit, and the Giants should get it back in good field position.
That's McConkey standing in his own 35. Cox has boomed both punts thus far into the end zone. 56 yards and 53 yards gross. And this one a fair catch for McConkey at the 33-yard line. And that's a 48-yard punt. Good kick. Giants have it. They'll spot it at the 34. 10:20 to go in the half.
Boy, these trivia questions are tough.
Okay, Boom Boom. What did Al Capone say when surrounded by the FBI?
Heck of a...
He's right. I don't believe it.
Name the English band that performed the first rock opera.
Who? He's right again. Amazing.
All right. What beer tastes so good it's the 2nd largest selling beer in America?
Miller Lite. Coming right up.
He won the game.
This game is easy.
No question about it. There's only one light beer. Miller Lite.
Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, 10-0 the Giants, leading Washington 2nd quarter. Meanwhile, at Shea Stadium, bottom of the 6th, Rafael Santana at the plate. 3-0 Boston as Santana hits a grounder to short, and Owen makes the play to the right of second and throws him out. Wait a second.
Put the wrong hat on here.
Just want you to know we're on top of things, gang. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Here, 1st down and 10 from the 34. And Morris is stopped for a loss of 1 by Charles Mann. 2nd and 11. You want some rugby scores?
Busy night. This city has really been turned on, though, over the last few weeks. Jets playing well, Giants playing well, Mets doing the impossible.
I tell you, that was a good play by Owen, though. 2nd and 11 at the 33-yard line. Sims to Morris out at the 40-yard line. And Joe is stopped at the 42 by Neil Olkowitz. It'll be 3rd and about 2, depending on the spot.
Giants changing off once again. Mowat comes in. Out goes Solomon Miller, the rookie wide receiver. Now they are back in their very effective running formation.
And it's Morris cutting inside of Anderson, but he's shy of the 1st down. And again, it's Olkowitz, 52, who's all over the place.
Olkowitz, very interesting. You get the feeling, and you have over the years, he's now in his 8th year out of Maryland, that they have tried to replace him over and over at that middle linebacking position, and he just hangs on. Came in as a free agent in '79, became a starter as a rookie, and they have never found somebody to match his skill.
Sean Landetta now to punt, and Ken Jenkins back at his own 10-yard line. Good, deep, angled kick. A very fortuitous New York bounce, and the Redskins are buried deep at the 5. 53-yard punt.
He's been leading the NFC coming into tonight, and that was a beauty. The Redskins are deep in a hole. Turn that sucker over.
IB. Sean Landeta, some impressive numbers. Of course, he had that one ill-fated punt, though, in the playoffs last year.
It'll never be forgotten.
Right.
He whiffed it. He walked over to the sidelines. Bill Parcells never asked him again. As he came off the field, he said, "What happened?" He said, "I missed it." Bill Parcells said, "We'll leave a part of it out." "You what?" He's never talked to him again about it.
Skins from their own 5. 8:10 to go in the half. Monk in motion. Schrader fakes the draw and then finds Didier. And Didier takes it out to the 17, so they have breathing room and a first down. Clint Didier, who was Neil Lomax's favorite receiver in college at Portland State. Now we can tell you about college football. Check your local listings. Oklahoma to take on Kansas, or Ole Miss against LSU, and College Football Today coverage Saturday at 3. Next week will be at Soldier Field. Rams and Bears. Good one. Monday Night Football.
Dickerson and Payton. Not bad.
From the 17. Schrader. Complete to Rogers, and Rogers at the 30-yard line. Reasons makes the tackle, and that's when you look for receiver number 5. Rogers doesn't catch many passes. In fact, it's only the second he's caught all season.
That's not many, is it? Never a touchdown. He's one of those rare birds. They use him in a single back offense to run the football. They seldom get him into a pass pattern, and the only time you're going to get a completion to him is when you have a problem like Schrader had then. You get in trouble, you look around, that's the only person you can find. But he does get the first down.
Interesting little note on his not catching a touchdown pass. We'll pick up in a minute. First down. Rogers to the 35. In the history of the NFL, there are only two running backs who've carried the ball at least 1,000 times. In other words, 2 long-time running backs who've never caught a touchdown pass. One is Rogers, and the other, Earl Campbell.
And they played together. Phillips brought him into New Orleans, put them together, and decided he'd stick with Earl Campbell. And that's when Bobby Beathard got lucky and was able to get George Rogers in a year in which John Reagans played it all out.
2nd and 4. Skins from the 36. Monk in motion. And Schrader going deep and bumping going on, and no flag with Clark and Williams, and the official saying that both were making an effort for the ball.
Let's take a look at the main man in the pass rush of the Giants. And they get Don Warren right into Lawrence Taylor's face, but he has a great quickness. Schrader, however, has the time, and Williams was providing the coverage on Gary Clark. He had to play catch up with him. He got there in a ball that was just a little bit underthrown. Had Schrader put a little more on it, that could have been 6 points.
3rd and 4 from the 36. Giants 10, Redskins nothing. Schrader for Monk. First down, flag down near the 45-yard line and away from the play. We've got a penalty marker.
Clear across the other side of the field, the flag is thrown.
And it's against New York.
Illegal contact, number 46, defense. Penalty will be declined. First down.
Greg Lasker.
Giants had the #1 defense, but Greg Lasker is one of 5 rookies that are on that defensive unit alone. And it's a defensive unit that currently, or at least after 7 games, was leading the NFL, at least in yards allowed. Taylor hurting a little bit over the sideline, and they're looking at Lawrence's right shoulder.
And Andy Hedden spells him for the moment. Rogers, no room. Harry Carson in on the tackle, and it'll be 2nd down, 8.
Carson, as he usually is, either on the bottom of that pile or right near it. Amazing career. 7 times in the last 8 years he's been to the Pro Bowl. Giants outstanding linebackers. You can't say they don't lose something when Lawrence Taylor goes out, but it isn't a whole lot because Andy Hedden is an excellent linebacker that would be starting for most teams.
Crowd is responding to what's happening at Shea, and they're reacting to the Mets as Schrader goes deep for Clark, and Clark makes the catch and gets down to the 5-yard line where Mark Collins got beat and finally makes the tackle. So they're happy about the Mets at Shea and not too happy about what just happened here on a 49-yard reception by Clark.
Single coverage, the rookie from Cal State Fullerton, Mark Collins, in against Gary Clark, and Collins did not even know until that moment that ball was thrown, but he was trying to play catch up with Gary Clark, who can really fly. He's not big, 5'9", but he put the sprint on and ran right by the rookie Collins. Good pass by Schrader and a good read by Schrader. He picked up the single coverage and found that it was Collins against Clark.
So as the crowd responded to a run-scoring base hit by Keith Hernandez in Queens, it's 1st and goal Washington from the 5, and Rogers gets racked up.
And down here is where the Giants get exceedingly tough defensively. Hard to run away from them because they pursue so well. And the best thing you can do is come with some sort of play action, hold them if you can, and put the ball in the air. Joe Gibbs. He's had a remarkable 5 years with the Redskins, a couple of Super Bowls, winning one of them.
Second and goal. Warren in motion, Schrader to put it up in a very deep drop, and he slings it sidearm, and the catch is made at the half-yard line by Clint Didier, stopped by Perry Williams. Great catch, and a slingshot sidearm fastball thrown by the former baseball player Schrader.
Just great athletic skill on the part of Schrader. He was being harassed there. Giants bringing everybody, including Lawrence Taylor, who's back in there, but he's able to sidearm it and get it to the man they like to work with down here. Didier has the best hands on this Redskin ball club, and they like to work to Didier anytime they get down into that short area. He's big, he's strong, and he takes it down to the 1.
Meanwhile, there was motion there, and a flag goes down as Rogers carried it in, and Didier was the man who was moving. Illegal motion, Washington. It'll cost them the touchdown temporarily.
Illegal motion on both the tailback and number 86. Still 3rd down.
86 Didier, and also you'll see Rogers moving too. Here's Didier. There he is. That's evident.
One move, they all move. They're cocked and ready. But it puts the Redskins back into a passing situation. And they put Gary Clark out to the left. Again, Didier is the man they like to work with down in the close yardage area.
Clark and Monk to the left. Didier goes in motion. Ricky Sanders to the right. Schrader has to scramble. Fires low. Incomplete.
Again, they chased Schrader out of the pocket. And then they had the coverage where they needed it. That pass was designed to go over to the left side where Clark was working with Didier. Schrader had no chance. He's looking over there, wants to go over there, and now he just knows he can't do it. And he has one receiver and a couple of Giants on him here, and that will prevent the touchdown as they bring out the field goal unit.
And thus that motion penalty will probably wind up costing them 4 points. Assuming they settle for the 3 as Max Zendejas tries to make good on his first field goal as a Redskin. He missed his only attempt last week against St. Louis. And there's his first 3-pointer as a Washingtonian. 3:21 to go in the first half as the Skins get on the board, but they're not too happy about it. 10-3 Giants. They should have had 7. Taylor back in the game.
they'll get an ovation as they come off. They have been just playing superb football throughout the entire season. And the man who has really come back, Lawrence Taylor, of course, the much publicized problems he had during the off season, when he, on his own, went into a rehabilitation clinic for substance abuse, came back out, made one brief announcement about it, said he was going to let his play and his actions off the field and on the field dictate his own rehabilitation, how far he had come back. He has refused to comment on anything about that to anyone ever since he came back. But he has been a spectacular player once again. He wasn't less than spectacular a year ago as they continue to look at his right shoulder. He was a Pro Bowl. He's been a Pro Bowler in each of his last 5 years. But he has also put on another kind of a fight, and a rather spectacular one over this past off season. And the word is that Taylor has a pinched nerve in the right shoulder.
Steve Cox's kick will go out of bounds. They'll do it again. The Mets have tied it 3-3 at Shea Stadium at the end of 6, and here with 3:17 to go in the first half, 10-3, the Giants on top.
Speaking of Lawrence Taylor and his problems during the offseason, his own self-commitment to a rehabilitation clinic. There's a great program going on in California started by Del Williams, a former San Francisco 49er, called Pros for Kids. I'm going to have the opportunity to be out there again on Wednesday night, as I have in the past when they have had their annual fundraising dinner. The First Lady will be there, Nancy Reagan. But they bring in an amazing amount of athletes from all over the country. And what they do is they go out and work with the kids in the community. They go out and talk to the youngsters where the problems really begin. And they have done a tremendous job. And I know you're familiar with it, Al, but it has had amazing success out there.
And a good friend of ours and your former teammate Lee Groscup also involved in helping that program along as well.
It'll be a great night, Wednesday night, headed of course by the First Lady, who has been so active and so busy and so tireless in her work against drug abuse.
From the 30-yard line, taken a yard deep by McConkey. Buried at the 18-yard line. Tackle made by Todd Bowles, and we can tell you that Sunday, and it begins at 10:30 in the morning Eastern time, the New York City Marathon. Making their way through the streets of the Big Apple. Live coverage, per usual, on ABC Sports, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, Sunday.
That is a wild scene when they come off that Verrazano Bridge to begin that.
Without paying the toll, too. Morris takes it up to the 20-yard line to gain 3. Clock down to 3 minutes now to play in the half.
Joe Morris at 5'7", 195 pounds, cracked some remarkable records of some great runners up at Syracuse. We think quickly of Larry Zonka, Jim Brown, just a few of them.
Second and 8. Over the middle for Anderson. And Otis gets it out to the 25-yard line. Thus it'll be 3rd and about 3 coming up, with Olkowitz and Daniels making the tackle, and that should take us down to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, we talked about the injuries to the outside receivers for the Giants, Lionel Manuel and Stacy Robinson, both on injured reserve. They, of course, would have been in there tonight had they been able to go. The Giants have been troubled at the outside receiver, but more than that, they lost George Adams, one of their fine backs who worked so well out of the backfield as a receiver. They lost him in the preseason to a hip injury. Leo Risson, another back who works well as a receiver, is also injured. So they've been hurting as far as receivers go throughout the entire ball club.
All across America, companies are declaring liberty for all. A revolutionary idea from Liberty Mutual Insurance, where employees can now save on all their auto, home, and life insurance through the convenience of payroll deductions. Liberty for all. It's freedom from bills and paperwork, and it can save you money. America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
The American American dream is one of hope and possibilities. We're GMAC, people who help make dreams come true. First, we made automobile financing easy. Now, home mortgages, financing for a boat, even MIC insurance to keep your dreams safe. We're the financial services people from General Motors. GMAC.
10-3, Giants leading Washington with 2 minutes to play in the first half, and the Giants have the football at their own 25-yard line. 3rd down, 3.
These teams have seesawed back and forth over the past couple of years, each winning at home as they split in the past 2 seasons. Tonight, of course, the Giants can win. They'll have a 3-way tie here in the Eastern Division of the NFC.
Play here for Washington now. Let's see if the Redskins want to take a timeout on defense, and they do, to stop the clock. And so Washington will be getting Landetta's punt, and they've got a lot of time to work down by a touchdown. Jenkins goes back.
Jenkins has been around a little bit. He played a couple of years with Detroit before joining the Redskins a year ago. Started to say these teams have been rivals over the past, well, many years, but last year they all wound up at 10-6. The Cowboys, the Redskins, and the Giants. The Giants, of course, getting the wild card on a better conference record in the tiebreaker. Going to be a real scrap right down to the finish line in the Eastern Division of the NFC.
That's why I think, and I reiterate what was said during our scene set tonight, this is really a vital game for the Giants. It's not going to put them out of the race, obviously, if they lose, but to be 2 back and 1 back at Dallas, and then to have Dallas here next week, the Giants could be in a little trouble if they lose. But right now they're winning, and Landetta to kick to Jenkins.
Hard to believe we are at the midpoint of the season. Game number 8. And they're still playing baseball.
And they're in the bottom of the 7th, playing 3-3. Good high kick. And a fair catch made at the 30-yard line. And we can tell you, Detroit against Chicago yesterday at Soldier Field, the Bears offense didn't score a touchdown, but the defense really did a job as Eric Hipple went back to pass. He was sacked by Wilbur Marshall, who then recovered the fumble, and the linebacker moved in for the touchdown. That gave the Bears a 7-0 lead. 2 more field goals, accounting for all of the Bears scoring as they beat Detroit 13-7, and we'll be taking a look at the Bears, of course, next Monday against the LA Rams at Soldier Field.
Redskins have good field position, their own 32-yard line, and keep in mind that they have a field goal kicker, Steve Cox, who can kick that ball about 60 yards.
First down from the 32-yard line. And Schrader fires. Nice pass. It's Clark who makes the catch, and he has a first down. Mark Collins, the soft coverage on the play, but Clark was right there reading the marker, gets the first down, and stops the clock. 1:37 to go.
Gary Clark, 5'9", 170-pounder. For this year, 33 receptions, another big year. He works so well with Art Monk. Truly gifted receiver on the other side, number 81. But last year, when Gary Clark arrived on the scene from the USFL, he was spectacular. 72 receptions, and he has been able to get himself open here tonight.
The Mets have just taken the lead on a home run.
There must be thousands of television sets here at Giant Stadium.
And that's the reason for the crowd screaming as they are right now. And in fact, Seaman dropping the flag, and the Redskins and the Giants were so startled by the crowd reaction to what was going on, it had an effect on what was taking place here.
It's interesting.
False start prior to the snap, number 66 offense. Please reset the clock.
Interesting.
To 1:42.
I think the Redskins thought their position was going.
Reset the clock.
I think the Redskins thought their position was going to be overrun.
Yeah.
That crowd erupting with the Mets score.
Yep.
I mentioned you, Al, a few years ago. when I was playing, we were playing in Pittsburgh, and the Pirates were playing the Yankees. We were recalling that game. We couldn't figure out what was going on. They were radios in those days. Didn't have these little portable jobs. But it is shocking when nothing's going on in the field. All of a sudden, 70,000 people just erupt.
This crowd is still going wild over Ray Knight's home run. And now as they settle down, the Redskins try to settle down at their own 37-yard line, 1st and 15. Didier in motion. Schrader for Didier. Can't make the catch. Collins getting a hand in.
Collins got a hand in, but Didier was also open. And again, Schrader could have put that out in front, and they would have been in field goal position right there, just a little behind him, and Collins was able to play catch-up and deflect the ball away. Schrader has a strong arm, however. It was amazing. Last year, when Theismann went down with a broken leg, he came in and boom, hit immediately on a 40-yard pass to Art Monk, and he has been starting quarterback ever since, and this team has really rallied around him. They believe in him.
2nd and 15 from the 37-yard line. Schrader slipping and sacked. Taylor gets credit. Schrader felt his breath, and then Lawrence applies the coup de grace. Timeout, this time New York. It'll be 3rd down and a mile, and the Giants take the timeout.
Taylor again, coming from over the right side. You can block him at the line of scrimmage, but he's so quick when he slips off that block that he's there. Schrader, of course, having his own problems and lost that split second, and Taylor was there with his 8th sack of the season. Just amazing over the years. I mentioned the 5 consecutive Pro Bowls, over 50 sacks during that period of time, and keeping in mind he's often double teamed, many times even triple teamed.
So Taylor and his defensive unit, the Giants taking the timeout here as they begin to think about conserving the clock, which is down to 1:32. Giants on top by a score of 10-3. 3rd down and 28 upcoming. And the Giants with 2 timeouts remaining. Rams, somehow, they keep on winning. It's Dickerson and Dickerson and more of Dickerson in their 6-2. And the Bears, the always intriguing and fascinating Bears, 7-1 next Monday. 3rd and 28. Keep it on the ground and give it to Keith Griffin. Nothing.
Time to tick away a few seconds and force the Giants to use another timeout.
And they will. The Giants take their timeout here, so they're going to have 1 timeout on offense when they get the ball back, and they're going to have some time with 1:24 remaining in the first half. Giants on top 10-3.
Ice being applied over in the sidelines.
Joe Morris is there. Timeout here. Meanwhile, Green Bay led San Francisco yesterday 14-0 early in the game, but the Niners defense really did the job. Randy Wright put it up 54 times. Unpropitiously here, however, as Ronnie Lott came up with the interception, and that gave San Francisco a 21-14 lead. As Ronnie Lott brought it back all the way, he returned it 55 yards, one of 2 interceptions for him. And the 49ers had the lead as Wright went back again. And with Green Bay trying to come from behind, it was Torrey Nixon in the revamped San Francisco secondary who went all the way 88 yards this time. And the 49ers, minus Montana, of course, and with Kemp hurting and Morosky at quarterback, the defense doing the job. 2 runbacks for touchdowns, and 31-17 San Francisco, who trail the Rams by a half a game in the tight NFC West.
Interesting turnaround a few moments ago. The Redskins were calling timeout, trying to get the football and put something more on the scoreboard. Now, after the sack by Taylor, the Giants used a couple of timeouts, and they should get it back in fairly good field position. McConkey out there at about his own 30-yard line. And now what's happened?
Well, the Mets are getting at least another run as Evans gets the ball back in, and Dykstra just scored.
This is wild, isn't it? Bizarre.
Everybody's got a watchman here, or a radio, or whatever, or word of mouth, and the Giants are going to get the ball back. What else would you like to know? Cox to McConkey at the 33, and McConkey takes it to the 40-yard line. And so the Giants with one timeout and 1:14 after a 44-yard punt and an 8-yard run back, and some final instructions from Parcells to Sims.
McConkey will stay in. That would indicate the Giants will have the 3 wide receiver offense in there. And this is what we've been talking about. This is going on all over the stadium.
First and 10. Giants at the 40-yard line. Shotgun. The only receiver set to the left is Johnson. And Sims goes the other way and hits Bavaro, the tight end, and he fights his way into Washington territory and goes out of bounds at the 48. So a first down, and he stops the clock as well with 1:07.
He's so strong, Mark Bavaro. He's been hurting over the past couple of weeks with a sprained foot, but he is almost back to 100%, and he is the clutch man the Giants go to, particularly with the injuries to Manuel and Robinson, the 2 wide receivers. But he will do things like that. He'll get you your first down, get it out of bounds, stop the clock, and conserve the 1 timeout you have remaining.
Inside give to Galbraith, and Galbraith has a first down as he gets to the 36-yard line. They have 1 timeout remaining. They will not use it here, as Sims barks instructions. First down from the 36. Sims, flag thrown. McConkey makes the leaping catch, has a first down, but a marker is down.
That marker is down where you usually get the holding call.
Against the Giants.
McConkey had the first down. He was down near the 20-yard line. They'll bring it back.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 65 offense. Still first down.
Bart Oates, the center.
Well, that's a tough one to call today, the way you can use your hands when you block. And Oates is shaking his head. He's probably been doing it all night. All of a sudden draws the flag.
So they're out of field goal range at the moment on 1st and 20 from the 46. Allegre's longest kick this season is 44. They work from the shotgun. Dumped to Galbraith over the middle, and Galbraith will stay in bounds. Obviously, he's in the middle of the field at the 37-yard line, and thus the Giants are compelled to use their final timeout here.
And Sims will go over to get his instructions, and the game is being played out as we look at the Giants field goal kicker. I mentioned that they have been changing quite frequently. Well, over the past 23 games, the Giants have had 6 field goal kickers. And it all began when Ali Haji Sheikh, who had a great season in 1984, pulled a groin muscle at the beginning of last year. They brought in Jess Atkinson. Then there was Eric Schubert. Then there was Bob Thomas, formerly with the Bears. Then there was Joe Cooper. And now Raul Allegre, who has been kicking over the past few years with the Indianapolis Colts. And there they all are. They've all been here one time or another.
Everybody but Gifford.
Well, they're digging, but not that deep.
They offer you a tryout?
I think they have their own Walkman over the bench in front of the Giants. So many of these Giant ball players, great Mets fans.
They better be thinking about this drive right now. 2nd down and 10. No timeouts left.
With 28 seconds, you have to think, get the ball to somebody who can get the ball out of bounds and stop the clock.
Right now, it would be a 55-yard field goal attempt if they can't pick up any more yardage. They dump it to Galbraith. Galbraith escapes one tackle and then gets to the 28-yard line. Malott got screamed out. But however, right at the moment, you've got the clock running down. The Giants are trying to set up, and they don't have time to bring in the field goal unit. Sims wants the ball down.
They'll get a pass off and stop the clock. That's
maybe
what they're trying to do.
Maybe, just barely. Just barely. 2 seconds.
And that will bring out Allegri.
So Allegri comes out for what will be about a 44-yard field goal.
He has one of 44 yards already.
And he's made one of 37 tonight.
This crowd comes to their feet. They have put the thrill back in the conversion of the field goal here at Giant Stadium.
Jeff Rutledge to hold. Good snap, good placement, good kick.
And a good effort to get it into field goal range after they picked up that penalty.
And Sims able to get it out of bounds and stop the clock and set it up for 3. So Allegri has given the Giants a 10-point lead. The Giants mounting some impressive drives early on, and then the perfect kick here. Plenty of distance and splitting the uprights, and he knew it from the outset. 13-3 Gents at the half. Back after this word and a message from your local station.
We're back at Giant Stadium, and it is the Washington Redskins and the New York Giants, longtime rivals in this NFC East. They really don't like each other. They play tough football games. They split over the past 2 years, each winning at home. And right now the Giants are leading here at halftime 13-3. Of course, this winds up an interesting weekend of play. And remember, it was a week ago that Minnesota took the Chicago Bears out of the unbeaten ranks. Well, it was an interesting day yesterday for Minnesota once again. The Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Cleveland Browns were in town. Let's pick up the action in the second quarter with the Vikings leading 10-3. Minnesota 3rd and goal on the Browns' 8-yard line. The Vikings, Tommy Kramer's having a great year. Drops back, starts to run, finds Anthony Carter wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota leading 17-3. In the third quarter, Wade Wilson is filling in at the punting role for Minnesota. The punt is blocked by Frank Minifield. Felix Wright recovers the ball. It runs all the way for a touchdown. Minnesota leading 17-10. In the fourth quarter, Vikings on top 20-13. Browns 2nd and 10 on the Vikings 17-yard line. Curtis Dickey, looks like the Dickey of old, takes a handoff, goes up the middle, 17 yards for a touchdown. On the day for Dickey, 19 rushes, 106 yards. On the ensuing kickoff, Rufus Betts returns the ball to the 17-yard line. He's hit there by Travis Tucker. Fumbles the ball, and Felix Wright recovers for Cleveland. The turnover gave Matt Barr a chance to put the Browns ahead with 1:46 to play. His 22-yard field goal split the uprights, and Cleveland won 23-20. The Vikings had one last chance to tie the game with 10 seconds remaining, but Chuck Nelson missed from 45 yards out. Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California, another big day for Eric Dickerson. In the second quarter, no score. David Archer is back for the Falcons. Looking over the middle. It's picked off by Mark Giroux. Archer only had 53 yards for the day as Giroux took it in from 22 yards out. Rams leading 7-0. After a Gerald Riggs fumble, the Rams ball 1st and 10 on the Falcons' 15-yard line. Dickerson, who had 170 yards on the day, passed this time to number 81 David Hill for a 15-yard touchdown. The Rams went out in front 14-0. Now in the third quarter, Rams still leading 14-0. Steve Dills, a quarterback for the Rams, fires over the middle to Michael Young. He's hit immediately and fumbles the ball. Number 26 James Britt recovers for Atlanta. He goes 65 yards down the sideline for a touchdown to cut the Rams lead to 14-7. But it was too little and it was too late. The Rams win at 14-7. And next Monday night, we'll be in Chicago. It'll be the Bears with Walter Payton, the Rams with Eric Dickerson, both on top their respective divisions and longtime bitter rivals. And it should be interesting in more ways than one now. That soap opera continuing out there with the Chicago Bears. They are characters.
Soap opera with the Bears, but they're 7-1. A soap opera of sorts with the Rams. Always a quarterback controversy. Bartkowski is hurt. Dills played yesterday. Some of the fans want to see Everett. The Rams have not been exciting, but they've been functional. They've done the job. They're 6-2. Who knows who we'll see next week? We know we're going to see Dickerson. He gained 170 yards yesterday. Maybe that's all they need.
He's right on a pace that would break his own single-season record. He's having a tremendous year. Good game here. The Redskins trailing the Giants 13-3 at halftime. A defensive game, if you will. And we'll be returning to Giants Stadium for more action after this message and then a word from our local station. Stay with us.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. By Renault Jeep, where commitment to quality and innovation form a winning team. By Liberty Mutual, for all your auto, home, life, and business insurance. And by Domino's Pizza. You can avoid the noise with Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza delivers. One call does it all.
Phil Simms leading the Giants in the first half on some impressive drives. However, just one touchdown. Twice he got him close enough for field goals by Allegre. And Schrader trying to get the Redskin offense untracked against the very tough Giants defense, which has lived up to all its billing. 13-3 as we start the second half. And the Giants kicking off as Allegre hits a line drive into the corner to Griffin, who takes it at the 8-yard line. And back he comes to the 20. First and 10, Washington from the 20. Start of the third period.
Where the Giants have really been effective is on the ground, and they have been using both the tight ends, Bavaro and Mowat, very effectively. They go in and out of that formation, but that has provided the most offense for the Giants, and would not be surprised at all to see them come back and feature that as long as it is continuing to work here in the second half.
Jay Schrader sends Didier in motion, and that's Rogers behind him. Fake to George, and going deep on the first play of the half, and it's caught at the 43-yard line. A nice catch by Gary Clark, who was one-on-one with Mark Collins.
The Giants come at the blitz, and that means you're going to get single coverage, and a good read by Jay Schrader. He looked up, saw it instantly, knew he was going to have the individual coverage, and he had Clark on Collins. Clark has beaten Collins now on a couple of occasions, and once again, had Schrader put that out just a little farther, that would have been a 6-pointer. A couple times now he has underthrown Gary Clark in what could have been touchdowns, and that underthrowing it by about a yard allows Collins to make up the distance between them, and they are talking about something now down on the field. I think we're going to get a check from the book from Jack Reeder, the replay official who is upstairs and working tonight, to see if this is a catch, whether he trapped it or not, had control of it, and we should have the verdict in a moment.
Looks like a catch to me, beyond a doubt.
Looked very good, but was he juggling it? Jack Reeder, the replay official tonight. Jim Stieg is a communicator, and we'll look at it again. And now I think Jerry Seaman has the official call.
Review by the instant replay official, the play will stand. Completed pass, first down.
Once again, they're right. Let's take a look at it again. This is what they were reviewing a moment ago. No question about it. And it didn't even take that long. Things are looking up.
First down at the 43. That's a 37-yard gain, and Didier goes in motion. Schrader looks one way and goes the other, and incomplete. Intended for Clark, and he underthrows him.
That was Taylor back helping Perry Williams, and Schrader has been looking at Taylor on the pass rush. Now he looks up, tries to get the ball out to his wide receiver, and Taylor's there also.
Last time I saw a bounce pass like that, Kenny Wolf was playing at Harvard. Second and 10 at the 43. incomplete again. Pressure put on as Didier was double teamed at the 38-yard line.
Didier has been the man they have featured tonight. They'd like to get the ball to Art Monk a lot more than they've been able to do tonight. As we look at Didier, who really can work as a tight end, he can work as the H-back out of the backfield. They can even put him onto the outside. He has great hands. He has good mobility and speed. He's big at 6'5" and 240, but the Giants are being very effective tonight in taking, at least thus far, Art Monk, their great receiver, away from them tonight.
3rd and 10. It's Warren who makes the catch at the 38, and Warren gets to the 34, and he does not have the first down. So it's going to be 4th and a yard or maybe 2 at most. Collins makes the tackle.
They mark it very close. And this is going to be an interesting call by head coach Joe Gibbs.
It's 4th and 1. So if you're going to go for a field goal, it's 51 yards, and that's certainly within Cox's range, but they're not. They're going for it. And when you've got Rodgers and you can put Warren in front of him in the eye, it's not a bad idea. And George pulls ahead, and let's see where they mark it. Harry Carson leading the charge.
Carson met him, but it was a second effort by Rodgers that should get the first down. Rodgers is big at 230 pounds, and Banks is slow getting up, but Rodgers on the second effort does get the first down.
Barely.
Tell you, Carson is one of the fine tacklers inside you're going to find in this game, and he met Rodgers head on. Rodgers bounced off and was able to get the first down. Good effort.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Rodgers to the 25, a gain of 8, and it's Lawrence Taylor who'll get credit for the initial hit. LT.
What a remarkable athlete. You try to run away from him, he'll run it down. You try and run at him, he'll take your head on. You look up, he's in the pass rush in your quarterback's face. You turn around, try to go deep, he's back helping out a defensive back. He's everywhere.
Giants have allowed just 2 field goals this season in the 3rd period as Rodgers takes it to the 23 and very close to a first down. 12 minutes to play, 3rd period. Giants leading Washington 13-3, and it's 3rd down.
You're looking for a whole lot of glitz in your offense. You're not going to get it from either one of these ball clubs. They don't believe in it, number one, and they honestly, with the exception of just a couple of players like Art Monk, who has pretty much been eliminated from the Redskins offense tonight by the Giants defense, they don't have a lot of spectacular players. Just steady, hard fighting football players, but they feature defense.
On 3rd and inches, they put it up and have it batted away. Carson got his hand on it. Odd call, very odd call. But I guess they figure they'll go for it on 4th down, and they'd catch the Giants napping possibly on 3rd and inches.
There's Schrader back, and Carson, who is about 6'3", goes up, gets the hand on it, and I think they were thinking they were in a 2-play offense even on 3rd and short yardage.
So now 4th down, and again, everybody in the park knows it's going to be Rodgers.
They believe in their offensive line, and they believe in Rodgers.
But the Giants stop them.
They'll have to rethink it.
Yep.
I'll tell you, that's challenging a very tough defense.
Eric Dorsey and Carl Banks were there, and Rodgers got stopped last week on a key 4th and 1 in the game against St. Louis, which the Redskins were able to hold on to win. 11:22 to go in the 3rd period as they meet George head on, and the Giants take over and continue to lead by 10.
nothing beats a cold Miller Lite when you're watching a game under the hot sun, eh, Sparky?
Yeah, you great seats, too.
I bought them last week, got them on sale. It's almost like being at the park.
For the best taste under the sun, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
These flies are murder, though.
You hear much more about Lawrence Taylor than this man, Harry Carson, but he is the leader, the spiritual leader of these Giants, if you will. And great football player in his own right. He has been to the Pro Bowl 7 of his last 8 years.
That was the face of a man working overtime, golden time. From the 25-yard line, it's Morris, flag after a loss of 3 back to the 22. Alvin Walton came up from the secondary, but we'll see about Jerry Seaman in the call. Against the Giants, I assume they'll take the, well, let's see, they should take the play in the down and the loss.
Holding number 60 offense, a penalty of a decline, second down.
Brad Benson, so there's your choice there is, do you want it 1st and 20 if you're the defense, or 2nd and 14, and they'll take the play.
Both teams, once again, very confident of their defenses. That reflecting the confidence of Joe Gibbs and his.
On 1st down, it's Morris slanting his way close to a 1st down, run out by Darrell Green.
Joe Morris just really got it back together again last week when he was playing like he played most of last year. He was a long-time holdout in training camp, had a good game up against Seattle, a 100-yard plus game, and he has picked up again here tonight. This is just great effort and a lot of strength from the little man. He gets a bunch of it back following that loss a few moments ago, comes up about 3 yards short of the 1st down, but it's amazing the tackles he can break. Again, 5'7", 195 pounds, and we'll have almost 11 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and Morris is over 100 yards for the night.
Averaging about 5.5 yards a carry. He's carried the ball 18 times. 3rd and 2. Sims batted incomplete. And Bavaro got tangled up after the play, but no call. Bavaro knocking down Darrell Green.
That ball was deflected, and Bavaro thought Green was going to go for the interception, so Bavaro took Green off his feet, knocked him about 10 feet. You'll see the ball deflected. Sims spots Bavaro. Just went out of your screen. There it is right there, the deflection over the right side. Getting the hand on it was Darrell Grant.
Now Sean Landetta. Low kick and a Jenkins run back from the 23. Ooh. To the 30. Pop put on by Pepper Johnson. 44-yard punt, 7-yard return, and Jenkins is still down with 10:36 to go in the 3rd.
That was a violent hit.
Al Michaels, Frank Gifford with you as Ken Jenkins has at least assumed that posture as he got ripped on the run back after a 7-yard return and goes head-on into Pepper Johnson.
That's Johnson, and you can see the head of Ken Jenkins snap back. He is on his feet. I would not be a bit surprised if he doesn't have certainly at least a mild concussion. He was looking around in a rather curious way, and having been in that position before, it is a very curious feeling until everything starts to come back together again.
It would be nice to think they were cheering for Johnson. What they're cheering is Strawberry's 8th inning home run at Shea, and the Mets lead 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th. And here, 13-3 Giants as Washington takes over at its own 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Rogers still going nowhere, and the tackle made by Jim Burt, who will live forever in my mind because he was the guy. Remember when they beat the Raiders in L.A. and Parcells was so excited and Bill was coming off the field and he almost took his head off. In Parcells' elation, he came up from behind and knocked Burt's helmet off and nearly knocked him out. Big, big night for Gotham and Jersey thus far. Second and 9. Picked off at the 45 by Perry Williams. And back to the 30.
Schrader had the time, but he has been feeling a lot of pressure. Lawrence Taylor again in on the pass rush. And let's take a look at Taylor. He comes bottom of your screen, working against Don Warren, slips that block, and Schrader senses he's in deep trouble from the outside, and he lets it fly, and Perry Williams, fine athlete at that cornerback position, took over for Mark Haynes a year ago, comes up with the interception. Good field position, Giants.
And Joe Morris from the 30 gets sandwiched. Butts is there. And also very active, as you can see, Malott and number 77, Darrell Grant, trying to lead the defensive charge.
It's an important series for the Redskins defense. Down 13-3. You don't want to go down 20-3. You don't want to go down 16-3 to what right now is the toughest defense in the NFL.
9:10 to play, third period. Sims going for the end zone for Johnson. Touchdown.
That's spectacular. A great throw. Sims had to have it right there, and Johnson was able to concentrate and hold on to it. What I said you don't want to have happen if you're a Redskin has happened. Let's take a look at Sims. Good protection. Both the backs took a quick look. No blitz. Anderson looked. Morris looked. And then they both went into the pattern. It left Dean all alone against Johnson. And Johnson, with the diving concentration, was able to come up with a super catch. But it's a tough defense now you have to come back against.
Johnson caught a couple of touchdown passes against Dallas in our Monday night opener. The extra point by Allegre here. And Johnson a little too slow in responding to his injuries in the estimation of Bill Parcells, and kind of in and out of a small doghouse, but very much best in show here as he makes the catch for the TD, and the Giants lead it 20-3. The Giants, after the interception by Perry Williams, go in on a 30-yard pass to Bobby Johnson. They lead now by 17 with 9:04 to play in the third period, and Allegre kicking off. Keith Griffin, Archie's brother, from the 6 to the 22. And the Giants hitting defensively and special teams, and Herb Welch is there to put the tackle on.
Al, we were sitting there at the meeting this morning when Bobby Beathard, and if you want to put somebody up there in a class by himself in football judgment, it would be Bobby Beathard. He said this could be the best football team right now in the NFL. And he was talking to the Giants. He said if they can do anything on offense and get things happening on offense, they have the best defense going for them. And he was actually predicting what might happen tonight to the Redskins. And they have been overwhelmed thus far.
First and 10 from the 23-yard line. And out to the 28 goes Gary Clark for a gain of 5. Well, this is the big test for Washington. 6-1 coming in, and again they had played the exact schedule the Giants had, the difference being they beat the same teams except Seattle, whom the Giants lost to last week. The Skins took care of them earlier. Both have lost to Dallas, and again, if the Giants win this one, there would be a 3-way tie. Skins, Giants, Cowboys at the halfway mark. 2nd and 5. Giants secondary really doing a job, and that pass is out of bounds. Didier finally got free, but right down the sideline, and Mark Collins was there covering. 3rd down, 5.
Schrader, with all the time in the world, he just could not find an open receiver. Finally had to loft one up there, but no chance for the completion. The one game you mentioned there, Al, the Giants did lose after winning 5 in a row. They lost last week to Seattle in Seattle, and that's kind of a different story. The Redskins beat Seattle in Washington. Seattle are tough up there. Tough period, but especially up there.
3rd and 5 from the 28. And with Clark in motion, Schrader under pressure, and gets it off, and deep and out in front is Sanders. He's inside the 20, the 10, and he gets Washington very much back in the game, down to the 1-yard line. And Mark Collins fell down on the play, and that's the reason that Ricky Sanders was able to get loose for 71 yards.
Let's take a look at it. Again, Ricky Sanders, he has superb speed, and Collins was playing it. They have been getting behind Collins all night long. That time, he just stepped on his foot. Sanders almost stayed on his feet to get it into the end zone. And this is what the Redskins had to have, a big play. And they get it from Ricky Sanders.
And that's his first career reception. Not too bad, huh? First career reception on Monday Night Football for 71 yards. And to get your team back in the game if they cash in here.
It's worth a couple of high moms.
Rodgers, the eye back, and Rodgers with the ball and the touchdown as Rodgers gets in there.
And they needed this. They needed something big, and they come right back. Sign of a good football team, a well-coached football team. They did get the break with Collins falling down, but they capitalized on it. They get it into the end zone, and they keep themselves alive.
And the NFL record, as you can see, 13 games in a row in which you score a rushing touchdown. And Rodgers is just too shy now of tying that mark, the mark set by his former teammate. 11 consecutive games in which he has rushed for a score. The extra point by Zendejas is good. And so Washington, with 6:57 to go in the 3rd period, gets right back in it. It is 20-10. And Parcells, who had watched his team assume what appeared to be a pretty comfortable 17-point cushion, sees Collins fall down and Sanders get free and Rodgers go in for the score. And there is Sanders as it's 20-10, and that has momentarily stilled this crowd of 75,000 in the Meadowlands.
And the Redskins with their offense, and of course the big man in the offense would be Joe Gibbs along with his assistant coach and Joe Bugle. They have been able to find Mark Collins, the rookie cornerback. They've had him all day on single coverage. That should be a beauty. Maybe not cosmetically, but it will be a hard-hitting football game.
Bring the makeup.
Two great runners. Eric Dickerson, again, on the pace, really, to break his own individual single-season record. Walter Payton, every time he does anything, it's a record. Chicago, of course, strange happenings out there. Signing of Doug Flutie has set off a lot of conversation back and forth between head coach Mike Ditka and the principal Jim McMahon. They are different.
Never a dull moment with the Bears.
It will not be next Monday night.
Meanwhile, 20-10 now as Steve Cox kicks off for Washington. Phil McConkey from the 1 to the 24. And so the Giants take over with 6 minutes and 48 seconds to play in the 3rd period. And there it was, Rodgers going in on the 71-yard reception by Sanders, setting up a 1st and goal. And the Redskins get back in the game.
And the Giants, just like the Redskins a few moments ago, they'd like to get something happening right here. That was the first big play that they have given up to the Redskins on the night, albeit a slip by their cornerback. But they'd like to come back, take control once again.
1st and 10 from the 24 as Morris takes it out to the 28-yard line. Gain of close to 4. It'll be 2nd down 6.
Dexter Manley, one of the true solid pass rushers around the NFL. He's right up there with the best of them. 15 sacks a year ago. He's 7.5 sacks already this year.
On 2nd and 7, Sims, and dropped at the 41-yard line. Otis Anderson unable to hold on.
That's kind of uncharacteristic of Anderson. He has good hands, works well out of the backfield, good receiver with the Cardinals. Just lost the concentration there for a moment. Sims had it right in there.
3rd and 6. Giants tonight have not converted a 3rd down. Zipped for 6.
Redskins in the nickel. Barry Wilburn in there in the secondary.
Solomon Miller was the man in motion. And Sims gets sacked at the 20. And a big defensive play for the Redskins because they're going to force a punt and get the ball back in what should be pretty good position. Dexter Manley gets the sack.
He goes against Brad Benson, number 60. Sims had a lot of time, plenty of time to get rid of the ball. The block was held long enough, but there were no receivers open downfield. The nickel defense covering the Giants receivers, and they get the loss, and they have to punt from their own 10-yard line.
Good kick by Landeta. It backs Darrell Green up to the 26, and one of the NFL's fastest men returns it to the 35-yard line. 53-yard kick, 9-yard return, and a penalty flag as there's a skirmish back at the 40-yard line involving Pepper Johnson among others. Johnson and Angelo Snipes were tangled up in a 4-round preliminary altercation.
It was just a lot of hugging. There was nothing thrown except the flag.
No kissing, though.
Personal foul against Johnson. Redskins are going to have excellent field position.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 52, kicking team, first down.
That was kind of picky.
Pepper Johnson. Kind of spicy, I thought.
One of 3 second-round draft picks. The Giants had 4 of them. 3 of them made the team, all in the defensive unit.
Meanwhile, Skins at the 50-yard line, 1st and 10 from the 50. Monk in motion. Schrader over the middle, wide open is Clark at the 35-yard line, and he takes it to the 32. Now the Giants, we mentioned before, had not given up a touchdown in the 3rd period until tonight. They've already given up 1, and now the Skins have moved it to the 33 with 5:20. Clark has caught 5 passes now for 118 yards, so a 10-point Giant lead. And meanwhile, a 3-run Mets lead in the 9th inning at Shea. And Clark tonight with 5 catches, and that means he has maintained his streak as the Giants shaken up there is Kenny Hill. Clark has caught at least 3 passes in every Redskin game this season.
Interesting, Al. Art Monk, who has caught at least 4, has 1 reception. Let's take a look at Gary Clark. And Kenny Hill is number 48. And the collision there with his own man as he is bent back, and the medical unit of the Giants is out on the field. Kenny Hill, the strong safety, came to the Giants a couple of years ago from the Raiders.
So time called here while they work on Hill, and things getting a little antsy for the Giants, who lead by 10, but the Skins are very much back in it with 5 minutes and 16 seconds remaining to be played in the 3rd period, and Schrader is able to take advantage of the injury timeout
to confer with Gibbs and company. Parcells, meanwhile, who has watched his team build a big lead, now trying to hold on.
Cannot be too happy with what has happened. Mark Collins falling down, allowing Sanders to take it to the 1-yard line, allowing the Redskins really to get back into it. And they continue to look at Kenny Hill. But credit the Washington Redskins. They have stayed right with it. They have started to move the football. The Giants have pretty much taken Art Monk out of the game tonight. But in doing so, the Giants have allowed Gary Clark to run relatively free out there, and they have been wise enough and quick enough to pick up on it, and they have really worked Gary Clark against the Giants defense. He has been the big factor. Kenny Hill appears to be all right, and he should be coming back into the lineup. Meanwhile, they bring out Herb Welch, second-year man out of UCLA.
And it's Welch who lines up on Didier's side, with Monk and Didier to the right, and now Monk going in motion. First down from the 33-yard line. Schrader chased and throwing off balance and incomplete. Gary Clark was the intended receiver, and Lawrence Taylor put on the sprint.
Once again, Taylor in on the pass pressure, and Schrader, had he perhaps had another fraction of a second, would have been able to unload the ball. The Redskins had quickly picked up on the fact that Hill was out, Herb Welch was in. They had Didier working against Welch, and had Schrader had a little more time, he might have been able to get the ball to Didier and into the end zone.
Second and 10. Didier in motion. And Schrader sacked. Guess who?
Oh, he's having a night, isn't he? When he's not getting the sack, he's chasing Schrader out of the pocket, or he's back in the pass coverage. Yeah, he's back, if he ever went anywhere. Again, they bring him from all over, this time from the right side. They can't even hold him. Jacoby, who weighs about 300 pounds, lost him somewhere, reached around, tried to hold him, and couldn't do that. He's a defense all to himself.
Third and 20. Schrader, and wide open is Clark. Touchdown. As the Giants, with a major malfunction in the secondary, Welch was in the area, but he got by Williams. Williams may have been the man left hung out to dry, and Clark wide open and in for the score. And Parcells is really upset.
You could never know until you could talk with him, but Perry Williams up there and passes him off. He obviously is thinking zone. Welch, who has come in for an injured Kenny Hill, is not back there in the zone position where, in all probability, he should have been. And another easy one, and the Redskins stay in it. Gary Clark has been all over the ballpark tonight as the Giants have concentrated on a brilliant receiver, Art Monk. Gary Clark has absolutely run wild.
And so Zendejas with the extra point, and again it goes back to Kenny Hill coming out of the game. And the Giants malfunctioning in the secondary, and the Skins are within 3. 4:12 to go in the third. The Washington Redskins with 2 quick touchdowns, coming within 2:45. Clark making it 20-17, and there's Taylor. He's doing his job, but the secondary ain't, and that's why he's angry.
He was really upset with that blown coverage. He has been all over the field. He has 2 sacks, all kinds of hurries. He's been in on the pass defense. And you have one defensive back fall down. That paid off in a touchdown. And you blow an assignment, and that's another one.
Cox's kick is fielded at the 3 near a small smoke bomb. And McConkey takes it out to about the 18.
And tippers flaring. This is a typical Redskin Giants game. They don't play many of them. They haven't in the past couple of years that have been separated by many points. Right at the Redskins, they have hung in here. They get the two big plays, and they are right within reach, 20-17, and they still have over 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
So the Giants come up at their own 18-yard line. 4:03 to play in the third period as Morris takes the inside handoff and gets it out to the 22-yard line. Jay Schrader connecting for a couple of touchdowns here in the third period, actually for one, and then the big 71-yard Schrader to Sanders pass, setting up the 1-yard Rogers plunge.
Kind of like Schrader. He threw that interception a while ago. We had a close-up as he walked off the field that after he had thrown the interception to Perry Williams, he was already talking to his offensive team saying, we'll get it going again. Don't worry about it. We'll come back. And they have done just that.
Sims wanted the crowd to be quiet. Great scene because the Mets are on the verge of winning the World Series, and he's asking for quiet in a different sense. And the pass is caught out at the 28-yard line by Joe Morris, and that should be enough for a first down.
If he wasn't 5'7", it wouldn't have been that difficult.
Yeah.
Good effort by Morris. Right there. Keeps both feet inbounds. Has his eyes on the first down marker. And since the sticks.
And the Mets just won the World Series. So that's the reason for the response. And that'll create a little bit of a delay here while the crowd settles down.
It will. And it'll delay things considerably for the next few days in New York.
Sims wants quiet. Good luck, Phil. From the 28-yard line, 1st and 10 at the 28. Sims to Morris. 40, 45, and out to the 48-yard line, and Darrell Green makes the tackle.
It's a Joe Morris show, this particular series. We'd like to welcome all you World Series viewers who are now joining us. And we have a good football game. The Redskins and the Giants. It is 20-17, the Giants, and Joe Morris just gets the Giants out of their territory, deep in their own territory. They made a great reception a few moments ago. And now a nifty run out to the 48-yard line.
First and 10. New York. Sims sending Johnson wide to the left and putting Miller in the slot. Carthen and Morris are the running backs, and Sims throwing and hitting his tight end down at the 48-yard line, Mark Bavaro, for a gain of about 4. 2nd and 6, and he is stopped there by Curtis Jordan. Giants on top 20-17, but they've watched a 20-3 lead all but evaporate.
2 big plays, and that is all it takes. Redskins capitalizing, getting a touchdown on the long pass, and then a long reception that led to a quick touchdown.
Joe Morris picks up only a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 3, and Darrell Grant makes the tackle. 3rd down, 3. Giants at the 45, and the Redskins sending in 4 new defenders, including the extra defensive back Wilburn and Ken Coffey as well.
Giants, of course, answer. As a matter of fact, they set it up. They had the 3 wide receivers in: Bobby Johnson, Vince Warren, Solomon Miller, and Phil McConkey's there.
Shotgun. The Giants are 0 for 7 in 3rd down conversions. Penalty marker. And the pass is caught by McConkey. He's got the first down, but a flag at the line of scrimmage.
False start prior to the snap, number 60 offense.
Brad Benson. Instead of a first down, It'll be 3rd down and about 8 now.
Benson has his hands full tonight going against a first-class pass rusher in Dexter Manley, one of the best in the league. Benson has had a couple of penalties against him tonight. And one of them, you just saw a moment ago, takes away a 1st down. Benson trying to get set for the rush of Manley a little too quickly.
On 3rd and 8. They have to get to the 42, and they do to the 39, but there's a marker down. Galbraith made the catch. Against Washington.
Holding number 45 defense. The penalty will be declined. 1st down.
That's Barry Wilburn.
Wilburn, the nickel back. There were Giants crossing over the right side, and Wilburn obviously grabbed one of them. Galbraith had the 1st down.
Waning seconds now of the 3rd period.
This is the offense the Giants opened with tonight. The 2 tight ends. It was very effective with the run.
Over the middle, Morris dragged down by his shirt at the 22-yard line. And Little Joe has him roaring as the 3rd period comes to a halt. So, the 4th period will start with the Giants leading by 3, and we'll be back in the Meadowlands after this message from your local station. Fourth period at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, Giants Stadium, and the Giants on top by a score of 20-17. And as we start the 4th period, New York has it at the Washington 22-yard line, 1st and 10. Sims comes up with Carthen and Morris behind him. Morris the tailback and the ball carrier, and met at the 21-yard line, stopped there by, among others, Curtis Jordan and Darrell Grant. Meanwhile, let's go back and hear the 2 key plays with the score 20-3. This was Ricky Sanders making his first ever NFL reception. Mark Collins slips down. He makes the catch. He takes the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line, whence George Rogers went in for the score to make it 20-10. Back live now on 2nd and 9 at the 21-yard line. That's complete to Bavaro, and the tight end gets to the 12-yard line. The other big play was this Schrader pass, and again Kenny Hill had come out, and the Giants messed up in the secondary, and nobody was there for Clark, who made the catch and went in for the score, and that got him right back in it.
All taking about 2 minutes and 35 seconds in a game that had really been dominated by the Giants all the way, but that brought the Redskins to within 3 points. Good effort by Bavaro a moment ago. Coming up a little short of the 1st down. But the Giants are trying to screw their wheels back on. Big night for Morris. 23 carries, 112 yards, 5 receptions, 59 yards.
3rd and 1, and he takes it to the 12, and this is going to be an interesting little measurement here, as Darrell Grant was in on the tackle. Sims was signaling over to Parcells. He thinks he has the 1st down, but Seaman says, I want a closer look. Thus the chains will enter.
Again, it's a 2 tight end offense. Mowat, tight end, blocking back down. Godfrey, the guard, turning to the inside after pulling. And just a good effort defensively by the Redskins kept Morris from making a lot more yardage. He made enough.
13:21 to play in the 4th.
Watch Bill Parcells. It has to be a certain thrill for Parcells. He grew up really in the shadow of Giant Stadium over in Inglewood, where he was born. Was a Giants fan all his life. Now in his 4th year and a very successful tenure thus far. playoffs the last 2 years.
This is Morris now. And he's run down from behind at the 10-yard line by Rich Malott, number 57.
There he is. They call him Tuna. He's done quite a job. He's, as I mentioned, had the Giants at 9-7 in '84. Lost to San Francisco in the playoffs there. San Francisco ultimately winning the Super Bowl last year, 10-6, winning it in the tiebreaker. More victories in the conference than Dallas or Washington. And lost to Chicago in the playoffs.
2nd and 8 from the 10. Look out from behind. Dexter Manley with the sack.
There he is again, his 2nd of the night.
And he beats Brad Benson, who's not having the night of nights, I got to tell you.
Last week up in Seattle was the other tackle, Carl Nelson, who had his hands full with Jacob Green. And watch the top of your screen. Benson is 60. Getting around him is Manley. Sims doesn't have a clue.
Third down and 15 now from the 17-yard line. And Miller and McConkey come to the right, and Johnson goes to the left out of the shotgun. And it's dumped off for Bavaro, and Bavaro gets racked up as he reaches the 12-yard line. Alvin Walton and Barry Wilburn come in to make the play, and Allegre has to come in to attempt the field goal.
Sam's looking at Bavaro all the way. Little delay on Bavaro coming out. Actually took a quick look downfield, but settled on Bavaro far short of yardage needed for the first down. And it was Walton and Wilburn. They were right there for the Redskins, and we'll see the field goal unit coming on.
And Allegre to attempt the field goal from the 19-yard line, a 29-yard attempt. And he's been dead perfect tonight, but not here. Just wide. Wide to the right, barely. And so the Giants moving down the field, and a very important drive, and all Parcells can do is shake his head, and well, he should, because the Skins get it back down by 3.
The kicking game has plagued the Giants for the last 2 years, and Allegre misses from in close, and the Redskins keep it to within 3 with a little more than 11 minutes remaining to be played.
11:08 to play in the 4th period. Raul Allegre making his first 2, and then missing from 29, and here are the Redskins now. 1st and 10 at the Washington 20. 11:08 to go in the 4th. That's Monk in motion. Schrader throwing low and incomplete. Clint Didier couldn't get free, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
That time it was Banks who chased Schrader out of the pocket, and not Lawrence Taylor. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited. One of your residents from the Bay Area, Al, just dropped by.
Mr. Yelverton Abraham Tittle
once set an NFL record against the Redskins. 7 touchdowns back in 1963.
2nd and 10 from the 20. For Monk, complete, but he is wrapped up at the 23-yard line. He was shadowed by Andy Hedden, number 54, and Harry Carson also was there. So 3rd and 7 to come.
You get an idea of the attention that they are paying Art Monk. They have nothing but respect for this man, a genuine superstar. He has been drawing deep double coverage almost all night long. That time he tried to slide along the line of scrimmage, and he had a couple of linebackers with him.
Giants always do a pretty good job on Monk. Monk has never caught a touchdown pass in 11 lifetime outings against the Giants. He's got 2 catches tonight, and he's in motion here on 3rd and 7. And Schrader looking for him, and Monk can't get free, and it's picked off by Welch. And Welch takes it back to the Washington 44. As Monk had beaten the initial coverage, he'd gotten behind the 1 back, but then Welch came over.
Schrader pounding his helmet. He knows he should never have thrown that ball. The everything had broken down. The coverage had broken down. Welch, who was in there playing for Kenny Hill, was just playing kind of a center field, if you will. And here is Schrader. He spots Monk, who indeed had gotten behind the defender, Williams, but he never even took a look at Herb Welch, who was just laying back there, picked it off, and vindicates himself somewhat for that touchdown he gave up to Gary Clark a little earlier.
Herb Welch at a UCLA, and isn't that ironic, as Schrader is a UCLA man, and from the 44-yard line, it's Morris to the 43, where Dexter Manley is involved, and a penalty marker did not go down. No. Second and 10.
Schrader on the sidelines. You mentioned Al, he did indeed go to UCLA, but if you haven't followed this young man, he only played 2 seasons out there and only played very much in one of those seasons. Went off for 3 years to play, trying to be a baseball player at the Toronto organization, and finally came back into the draft in '83 and was taken in the 3rd round with the Redskins.
But now as he is on the bench, it is Sims back on 2nd and 10, and Berry back at his own 46-yard line. Neil Olkowitz, who had a big first half, but has been relatively silent here in the second half until now.
They don't use him much on the blitz, and that time Olkowitz was right in there. They brought everyone that time. Let's take a look at right in the middle. Joe Morris tried to pick him up, and at 5'7", 195 pounds, is kind of tough to handle a big middle linebacker.
3rd down, 18. 9 minutes to play in the 4th period. Giants up by 3. Sims to Galbraith, and he's 10 yards shy of the 1st down. And the crowd does not appreciate the call.
That's the second curious call. You were with us a short while ago. You saw another 3rd down long situation. They underthrew to Bavaro, coming up 10 yards short, settled for the field goal, which they promptly missed from 29 yards out. This one a very conservative call, leaving the Giants with a 4th down.
So Sean Landeta to kick. Darrell Green back at his 10. He angles it, and a fair catch is called for and made at the 14. And again, Green, replacing the injured Jenkins, goes to his knees after a 31-yard punt. So here come the Skins again with 8:08 to go. Al Michaels and Frank Gifford at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as Washington takes over at its own 14-yard line, 1st and 10. 8:08 to go, 4th period. And the Giants on top 20-17. Schrader with Rogers behind him.
Boy, this has been a tough game defensively.
Schrader, low throw and a late hit, and a flag already had been thrown on the pass intended for Clark. Seaman saying, hold it, hold it. And he brings over the side judge, Bob Rice. And the call is against the Giants.
Holding number 25 defense. 1st down.
Been a long night.
Mark Collins fell down once.
He has been the designee attack point. The rookie from Cal State Fullerton.
Well, you got to go back almost 19 years to find a game in which the Giants had a 17-point or more lead and lost. At one point, they led by 17 here, 20-3. Schrader going deep, looking for Monk. He's one-on-one with Williams. He gets inside position and takes it to the 35. Williams had him covered, but Monk with that great experience, and that's why you see Monk in the Pro Bowl so often. He got the inside position and never let Williams come around him, and makes a great catch.
Pressure again on Schrader, and he was very calm, very collected. And about at this point, Monk is breaking free. Schrader sees it and fires it. And Monk got inside and took it away from Williams. Williams had good position on him. It was just a super athletic move on the part of one of the great receivers in this game. They've held him in check up till now, but he gets a big first down inside the Giants' 35-yard line.
47-yard gain. First and 10 to Washington. 7:10 to go in the fourth. Warren in motion. Rogers with the ball. Gain of 1. Again, to set it for you in the NFC East, Skins come in 6-1. Dallas at the halfway mark is 6-2. If New York wins this game, there would be a 3-way tie. Giants, Washington, Dallas at 6-2. If Washington wins, they'd be 7-1. Dallas would be a game back. The Giants would be 2 back.
And Dallas is here for the Giants this Sunday.
And Washington goes home to face the Vikings. 2nd and 9. Schrader escaping Taylor and then throwing low. Intended for Monk.
Taylor again in the pursuit. And Schrader, this was almost reminiscent of last year, November the 18th, when Theismann went down. A young unknown named Jay Schrader came on and brought the Redskins back to a 23-21 victory. They were down earlier. They had a 17-point deficit, and now Schrader has brought them back. Good athlete. He moves around well out there. Giants have been penetrating, but he's been able to slide and slip and in most occasions get the ball off.
3rd and 9. Monk in motion with Clark wide to the right. And Schrader going over the middle and finds Clark at the 18-yard line. Taylor says no, but the officials say yes.
And it was a yes. And Gary Clark is having a great night. Let's watch him once again. He's small, 5'9", 170-pounder, and he breaks inside Collins. This time Collins was in the zone, and Clark found the opening, pulled up. Schrader was right on target, and they get the first down inside the 20. Good read by both Schrader and Clark.
1st and 10 to Washington. 5:40 to go in the fourth. Giants lead by 3. Warren in motion. Fake to Rogers. Knocked down. Mark Collins got a hand on it. Clark was the intended receiver.
Could have changed things around for Collins, who's had a tough night tonight. He's been very close, but he has missed on a couple occasions, and Gary Clark has made the most of it. And a good effort by the offensive line of the Redskins, and it is a good, solid offensive line. They give Schrader the time. He tries to squeeze one in. Collins almost comes up with the one-hand interception.
2nd and 10. 5:32 to play. Taylor sacked.
They knew he was coming. They couldn't do anything about it. He's so quick. He's so strong. His 3rd sack of the night.
And that's a big play because it pushes him way back in a situation where at least they're looking for a field goal. He beats Russ Grimm.
A Pro Bowler. And another great effort. He's been playing method football tonight.
Well, they just went from what would have been a 36-yard field goal attempt to what at the moment would be about a 50-yard attempt. Big play. 3rd and 25. They have to get to the 9 for a first. Schrader over the middle. It's Clark again. Breaks the tackle. Down he goes at the 13. He's 4 yards shy of the first, but he's put him in a position to tie the game.
That's exactly what they wanted. They would have taken something even a little smaller, but they go back to the man who has given it to them all night long. And again, the offensive line giving Schrader the time to throw the football. That was the key to it. Welch was there, but it was a good effort by Clark to find the opening, but that offensive line just gave Schrader the time to get it in there.
Zendejas with a 30-yard attempt. Cox is their long kicker, but it's Zendejas from this range. And the kick has tied it with 4:06 to play in the fourth. The Redskins have overcome a 17-point deficit. And at the Meadowlands, it's Washington 20 and the Giants 20. So the Meadowlands rocking not long ago. Not only were the Giants leading 20-3, but the Mets were on their way to winning the World Series. And the next thing you know, the Mets cash in, but the Giants are in trouble. They have blown a 17-point lead. It's 20 all, 4:06 to go in the fourth, and Cox to kick off. Toward McConkey, who fields it at the 2. And is tackled at the 19 by Terry Orr, reserve tight end and special teams member. And the Giants start deep in their own territory. Next Monday, the Rams and Dickerson. Coming off a 170-yard outing yesterday, and the Rams in their very tight NFC West race against the Bears, who are 7-1 on Monday Night Football.
What a beauty this one has turned into here tonight. Is a typical Giants-Redskins game. We've played so many of them over the years.
From the 19, Sims. Well underthrown. He was under some pressure, and it was Johnson who was sort of in the neighborhood, and Neil Olkowitz is the guy who hit Sims.
Sims is hurt.
And the Giants, of course, when you talk about a backup quarterback, you are talking about a man who has thrown one pass all season. That would be Jeff Rutledge.
And that was off a fake field goal.
Yep, and he's thrown only 2 passes in the last 3 years, and there he is. But Sims stays in for the moment. McConkey is in the game. He goes wide left. Miller goes wide right. And with Miller in motion, it's Morris. Past the 25, and a nice move to take it out to the 29 and close to a first down. Stopped by Calvin Daniels.
The predictable call. It was sent in by Bill Parcells when he saw his quarterback was troubled. He did not want him back throwing the football. Gives him the handoff, and the little one, Joe Morris, with a good effort, gets very close to a first down. They're going to measure.
3:40 to go in the fourth. Last overtime game in the league was last week. 49ers in Atlanta wound up in a tie after 75 minutes. First down, Giants. Each team has all its timeouts remaining.
Gary Clark having a big night from this man, Jay Schrader. Clark with 196 yards. Joe Morris, 125 yards rushing, 59 yards on 5 receptions. He's having a big night for the Giants.
First and 10. Sims lofting it for Bavaro. He got hung up, and he'll get the penalty call because Alvin Walton was right there with him. Alvin Walton had grabbed him, and will get the call from Seaman against number 40.
I'm going to talk this over. They were tangled up.
Seaman wants to recheck it.
Walton and Bavaro.
As suspected.
Let's take a look at it again. Sims had to release that ball under tremendous pressure. Here is Walton, and he makes a grab.
Illegal contact, number 40 defense. First down.
Made a grab of Bavaro, and Bavaro went off the field. As though he had been hit across maybe the bridge of the nose or in the eye or something. Well, he stays on, but he was certainly indicating that he was hurting.
He lines up on the left side on 1st and 10 now from the 35-yard line. Sims going over the middle looking for Bavaro again and overthrows him, and this time he was shadowed once more by Walton and no illegal contact. 3:25 to go in the 4th. 2nd down and 10.
20-20, and at one point the Giants with a 17-point lead.
Speaking of 2020, let me get a promo in. Later tonight on Nightline, Bolivian drug traffickers have more than enough money to buy their country's government, but if the government does not cooperate, they may try to take it by force. Nightline examines this conflict later tonight following your late local news. 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. Sims under pressure and incomplete. Again intended for Bavaro. And it's Bavaro and Walton again. And Dexter Manley, who's had a couple of sacks already tonight, a total of 2, put the pressure on, but a flag. And this time it's against Washington.
Manley's been coming all night. When he hasn't got the sack, he's been close to it. A lot of pressures, a lot of hurries. And just the frustration of the call going against Washington.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 32 defense. 1st down.
Vernon Dean.
Tough penalty against Washington. Gives the Giants that 1st down out at the 40-yard line.
That's 2 first downs now on penalties on this drive. 1st and 10 from the 40. 3:20 remaining. Sims lofting it deep for Miller and broken up at the last instant. Darrell Green, one of the NFL's fastest men, and some would say #1, got back there and with his great speed was able to catch up and flick it away.
And he was beaten. Bill Sims had the ball there. Maybe he could have put a little more on it to get it to Miller, but it was a great effort by Darrell Green. World-class sprinter at Texas A&I a few years ago, and you saw it right there. Superb effort. He's not big, Darrell Green, but he plays very big.
2nd and 10. Sims, and it's dropped at the 47 by Morris. He had possession in his hands, and Taylor mirroring the Giants' frustration. He's had a big night, but if you were with us earlier, a couple of blown coverages in the secondary by New York, and Taylor exhibiting his ire. 3rd and 10.
Getting a little shower here at Giant Stadium.
A little bit. A couple of umbrellas beginning to pop up. 3rd and 10. Sims over the middle and open there is Johnson for a 1st down at the 46-yard line. With 2:58 remaining.
Johnson got himself into a one-on-one with Barry Wilburn. Sims with good pass protection fired it in there.
Again, the Giants with all of their timeouts remaining. And Washington as well as the clock runs down. 2:35 to go in the 4th.
And the field goal problems that have plagued the Giants over the past 2 seasons, I'm sure right now, are entering the mind of Bill Parcells.
Sims looking for Miller, and he makes the catch, and a flag goes down at the 22-yard line. Covered on the play by Green. Good catch. And let's see what Jerry Seaman's going to say.
Looked as though he only had 1 foot in. And it's going to go against Solomon Miller, working against Darrell Green. Look at it one more time. Darrell Green, individual coverage, pushing off the left hand, pushing off Darrell Green, and the official was right on top of it. He goes right to the hanky. Here's the call.
Pass interference, number 87 offense, still 1st down.
And even had it not been interference, it would not have been a legal catch. 1 foot in, the next one goes out.
Big Dave Butts, 6'7", gets a hand up. Sims has to put it up high. There's the 1 foot. And another quick look at that left hand pushing off Darrell Green.
So it's a 10-yard penalty. It puts the Giants back at their own 44. 1st and 20. Miller in motion. Morris gets the give. Morris into Washington territory to the 40, the 30, to the 22.
He's been the offense all night. Beautiful run. 34 yards by Morris, and now he's hurt. And they're trying to get some of the medical staff out onto the field to look at Joe Morris. He hurt his knee earlier in the game. Had to go out for a while.
And this will take us very close to the 2-minute warning. The clock is momentarily stopped at 2:03.
Breaking it back against the grain, spots a little bit of an opening, just breaks away from Vernon Dean, turns on the speed. He has great short speed, not a long sprinter type speed, but he can accelerate. And you saw it right there as he gets down to the 22-yard line, and another Giants first down.
And as Seaman restarts the clock here, that takes us to the 2-minute warning. A big night for Morris, a big night on the other side, of course, for Clark. It's 20-20 with 2 minutes to play in the 4th.
And don't miss it.
Giants Stadium, 75,000. The attendance tonight, and just about everybody still here in a light misting rain. As Phil Simms comes out at the 2-minute warning, the Giants with all of their timeouts remaining. Game tied 20-20. And through the lights, the misting rain. Allegre warming up for what he hopes will be an extra point.
And I guess with 2 minutes remaining, you must also point out the Redskins have all of their timeouts remaining.
1st and 10, New York at the 22. And they give it to Morris. And Morris slips a tackle and then gets to the 18-yard line as he ran in and out of the hands of Dexter Manley. And then Manley makes the tackle.
That might have been the best effort of the night for Joe Morris. That would have been a 2- or 3-yard loss behind the line of scrimmage. He slipped the tackle, got away from Manley, slipped another one, and picked up 4 yards, but it could have been a 2-yard loss. And it shortened things up for this man, Raul Allegre. You know, he was tried out by the Redskins not too long ago after being released by Indianapolis. They did not take him. They, of course, a couple of weeks ago released the longtime Redskin Mark Mosley, and they brought in Zendejas, who had started the season with the Dallas Cowboys. Trick kickers travel a great deal. Schrader, who had a personal high of 3 touchdowns last week, seems to get better almost every week. Big night. His career best, 375 yards.
Meanwhile, that last timeout was just taken by Washington because Washington does not want to allow the Giants to run the clock all the way down. So they were, in a way, compelled to take that timeout because the Giants are certainly within field goal range. And unless Washington stops the clock and conserves some time, they're in trouble. So Washington took that timeout.
They'll have an opportunity to take another one.
2nd and 5. Morris takes it inside the 15 to the 13. And now another Washington timeout. And what this means is it becomes almost imperative for Washington to stop the Giants on this play, because if the Giants were to pick up a first down now on 3rd and 1, they could run that clock all the way down almost to the nub and then bring in Allegre for the chip shot.
Great effort by this man, Dexter Manley, all night. He has been playing like Lawrence Taylor's been playing for the Giants. He has been in the face of Phil Simms all night long, as he always is. He's a great defensive end. This entire football team, they were down 17 points. They just wouldn't believe they were down 17 points. They kept at it. They got 2 big plays, and all of a sudden they were just in a matter of 2 minutes and 35 seconds, they were back in it. The Giants now threatening with 1:44, and as Al pointed out, the Redskins having to use another timeout to conserve time after a field goal might be made by this man, and conserving time to get them back in it and give them an opportunity to add their own points.
This could very well be the ball game on 3rd and 1 right here. Again, if the Giants were to pick up 3 and get the first, down goes the clock, and in comes Allegre, unless they score before that. And so the Redskins, in effect, have to stop the Giants here on 3rd and 1. And Washington has also used 2 timeouts, so they'll be able to stop the clock only once more if New York gets the first. And here they come now on 3rd and 1 with Carthen and Morris. And Carthen leading the way for Morris. And Morris has the first down, and Morris has the touchdown.
And we're looking at a 3-way tie in the NFC East. The little man has been doing it all night long, either on the receiving end or the rushing end. Breaks off a 3rd and 1. You often see it happen because everyone is up there playing it so tight. All you do is pop the hole, get to the outside, and you can take it the distance. It's a good block from Godfrey, number 61. And sprints to the outside, accelerates into the end zone, and the Giants go back out in front. 1:38 remaining for the Redskins, and they do have 1 timeout.
Allegre for the extra point. Giants by 7.
What a night. They said he played his best game, Al, last week against Seattle. How about this one tonight?
In a losing effort, he gained 116 yards and comes back tonight and up and over 180.
Certainly the season's best and one of his best ever. Turns on the speed into the end zone. And now the Redskins are gathered on the sidelines. Under Joe Gibbs, they have come back on many occasions from a similar situation or similar situations. Again, the block by Chris Godfrey that sprung Morris to the outside. Not a bad one by Carthen also. And he just does get in.
Meanwhile, the Giant defense will have to think about containing Gary Clark, who's had a huge night with 8 catches. When Washington takes over, he's caught 8 for 196 yards. And in the midst of what figures to be a furious Washington rally, or an attempt anyway, Gary Clark is closing in on the Redskins' all-time record for receiving yards in a game, which is held by Art Monk at 230.
And you don't want to think too much about Gary Clark and forget about Art Monk.
That's right.
He is a man that can take it all the way from anywhere on the field. But here is Gary Clark. He's been the main man tonight on the receiving end of a fine night by Jay Schrader.
And then there's Clint Didier, who has made some very big catches this season as well.
All those things.
Allegre's kick is taken at the 2-yard line by Clarence Verdun, who runs back his first kick of the night. And he's out of bounds near the 30. And so here comes Schrader. Schrader is 19 out of 33. He's thrown for 376 yards tonight against the Giants. Normally impregnable defense.
You don't worry about Jay Schrader. I'm sure that Joe Gibbs, even though he's not even played 1 full season yet, you don't worry about this young man. He has command in himself. The team believes in him. He has a lot of poise, and he has great athletic talent.
Monk and Clark are both to the left. Didier is wide right. And it's underthrown at the 35 for Keith Griffin, who was slotted on the play. 2nd and 10. 1:28 to go. And 1 timeout.
Kenny Hill, of course, has returned to the Giants lineup. They are solid back there.
Again, Clark wide left, Monk slot left, Didier wide right. On 2nd and 10 to Clark, who gets free underneath and hit down at the 45-yard line by Carl Banks.
First down.
But the clock continues to move. Great effort by Schrader. He was buried. I don't think he even saw the completion.
And Clark, who was near the sideline, came underneath across the middle of the field. First down at the 46. For Clark again, he's free again at the 37-yard line. He's having an amazing night. 10 catches for Clark. And we'll total it up, but right now the more important thing is this drive, but Clark is close to a record. At the 37-yard line, Schrader has to stop the clock and does with 38 seconds to play. They have one timeout, second down and 10, and that's 228 yards tonight for Clark, who is 2 yards shy of the Redskins record held by Monk.
This will age coaches rather quickly. Parcells calls Lawrence Taylor over to the sidelines, whispers a word to him. Seconds ticking off.
There it is. By the way, the NFL record is 309. Stephon Page, Kansas City against San Diego last year. Second and 10. Three-man rush. Over the middle, in and out of Clark's hands. And that time he was quadrupled. 4 Giants around him, including Carson and Reasons, who were within close proximity.
He had collected a crowd. Let's take a look at it. Gary Clark, who is having this amazing night, gets away from Hill. He moves over the middle. You saw Carson, number 53, take a quick look at Clark as he came across. Might have got a hand in there even. And Taylor's there. And it brings up a third down with 32 seconds remaining.
Close to getting a flag on the play. Third down, 10 from the 37. Clark and Monk to the right, and the Redskins with illegal motion, and the play is stopped before its inception. It was Joe Jacoby moving on the left side. 66.
Ball start prior to the snap, number 66 offense.
Redskins are still alive, but they're going to have to get something rather major. They can't throw anything short anymore. They're going to have to get the ball downfield. There's Jacoby on the move. You saw it, number 66. And right now, they know they're going to have to go upfield. They line up a pair of wide receivers to the right. The man they like to go, the clutch man, and he's been that for years, is Didier. If they cannot get it to Clark, Didier is the clutch man.
Third and 15. Over the middle at the 30, it is Clark again. Amazing. He's just set a Redskins record, but it's 4th down and 3, and Washington has to use a timeout. 11 catches now for Clark. He's put his name in the Redskin record book. A tremendous night, but it's still 4th down and about 3.5 to come.
This was the best catch of the night. He has been spinning defenders around all night. He has been making good catches, but watch this one. See Schrader in trouble, moves to the right to give him a bit of a passing angle, and he comes down with it. That's an amazing grasp and an amazing night for Gary Clark out of a tiny little college. James Madison came to the Redskins out of the USFL a year ago. Had a tremendous year. Last year, 72 receptions, but look at him now, 240 yards on the night.
It's 4th down and 3. No timeouts remaining. And so Schrader at the 30-yard line. Not only needs the completion, he needs the guy to get out of bounds as well after picking up the first.
You have to think first down, and you have to think then get it out of bounds or get back in the huddle and let me throw an incompletion, and we can regroup once again. But if you don't get the first down, this one's history.
Giants by 7. A New York win, and it's Dallas, Washington, and New York tied for first at the halfway mark of the season. They sent Clark to the left this time, Monk to the right. Everybody in the pattern.
That's moving again, right side of the Redskins.
It's Didier, but again, we've got a flag down before the play.
Over the right side, I think it was Mark May this time.
Ball start prior to the snap, number 73 offense.
It is 4th and 8. And what they were doing is on the play, they went for Didier. who was slotted on the right side, and he was moving over the middle. So 4th and 8 at the 35. Clark left, Monk right. And falling down was Clark, and he was open. Of all ways to end a record-setting evening. He just makes the catch of the night. He's wide open and falls down. And maybe the slippery turf and the rain that just started 10 minutes ago may have cost him his footing.
And a great night for Jay Schrader. Take nothing away from Gary Clark. Let's watch him. He works first against Kenny Hill. He'll try to get that allowable bump in there within 5 yards. Clark gets away from that, works his way into the clear. He is wide open. Schrader had it behind him, and Clark tried to come back for it. And it is a little damp, and down he goes. The Giants now can run out the clock with 17 seconds remaining. And we have a three-way tie in the NFC East. The Redskins, now the Giants, and the Cowboys. And it's going to be like that all the way down to the end here in the East.
Tonight's game produced by Ken Wolf, directed by Chet Forty, Joey Shabo, our TD, Newbar Stone, our AD, Bill Freeberger, our tech manager, Bob Simon, unit manager, Jerry Reuter, telecom manager, Chaz Wiseman, Bruce Clark, assistants to the producer, research and info, Steve Hurt, and again, Malibu, Kelly Hayes, our great spotter, George Hill, par excellence, our stat man, as New York defeats Washington after giving up a 17-point cushion, coming up short. And at the halfway mark of the season, Dallas, New York, and Washington 6-2. And at the end, the gods and the rain gods were very much with the Giants. It appeared to be very evident on that last play on what would have been a first down. Clark, so brilliant all night, losing his footing on the slippery turf. Meanwhile, 420 yards tonight throwing for Jay Schrader. 22 out of 40. Again, the final, Giants 27, Washington 20. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford saying goodnight from East Rutherford, New Jersey. And this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealer. For comfort, innovation, and a real commitment to quality, it's today's Buick. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft smoothness. It's beer at its best. And by IBM and the growing family of IBM personal computers. Travel arrangements made through, promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. Nobody knows Hawaii like United. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.